About will they get it tonight, or will the nightmare continue, particularly for Collingwood? So the Magpies to the right of screen as we start Friday night football. There's a lot of pride at stake. Two teams who over the years have come together, no more so than in 1966 when the Saints won that famous final.
And Rocker starting in the middle once again. Bit happening there, just sorting itself out for a start.
Bathiris and Thompson together. Sierakowski and Rocker, and then Bathiris and also Thompson, and then Thompson runs into one. Little give out wide was pretty good, and Aubrey goes to the pocket, and this is just what Collingwood wanted. Sav to get his hands on it early. So Jason, a big kick, a confidence kick for Rocker.
It is, but the best thing about that play was the positive lead that he put in. He saw the way the play was going to spill out to this side. He led early and he got a 10-metre break. And in the end, he was actually waiting for the ball, and Darryl Wakeland still couldn't get there in time. But this would be the greatest thing ever, not just for Collingwood, but for Sav Rocker if he could thread the goal.
It's been a long time since he's kicked a goal in the AFL. He's only played one of the last 5. It's coming back.
That's a beauty.
He's kicked it. Well, the script could not have been written better, could it, from a Collingwood point of view?
Just conceded the middle of the ground. Oh, sorry, the out wide there, Wakeland. You see, when it comes into screen, Severio Rocker recognises Wakeland's going for the centre. See, he just turns out then, and he accepts, well, if you're going to beat me out, you're going to beat me out wide, not up the middle. So, just conceded it and let him get the drop on him. He'll have to tighten up a bit, though. You wouldn't want him to get his confidence up if you were the full back, Wakeland.
Gavin Brown sitting it out on the interchange. Collingwood with the first blow here. 9 consecutive losses after taking everybody by surprise at the start. Buckley gets it back to Bathiris. Almost ran out of room. Harvey in late, and may have forced the error. Wakeland at the back of Rocker. That's what's in front of him.
Rob Harvey came in off the front of the square at centre half forward.
Kick wide to Sierakowski. Couldn't get him. Orchard on hands and knees. And then Thompson belts it along the line, but it was just out before he did it for a boundary throw in. The Saints bench with the 2 premiership players from Collingwood in 1990 on the bench. Monkey for the Saints and Gavin Brown for the Pies. And it's been a reunion day for that team. They were paraded before the match, and we will have Lee Matthews at half-time as holding the ball. So against the Saints, Orchard to take it between centre wing and half forward. Called to play on. Wobbly one, he's all on his own, Sav. I think it's coming back against the Pies for some reason here.
He's just reversing it for a high Shepard, I think it was paid.
Lenny Hayes has got it, and there's a bit happening here.
There's a little happening down in the goal square, bit of a show of strength, nothing really serious going on.
So a poor kick by Hayes, and chopped off by Andrew Dimatina, playing his 3rd game. Good low kick to half forward. Anthony Rocker probably gave a free kick away, and in fact it will come back to Lenny Hayes, who's run away from the contest for a high over the shoulder from Rocker.
He did well, Lenny Hayes. He just popped in between the contest and didn't allow Rocker to run at the ball. In the end, Anthony Rocker jumped into his back, and for doing the team thing, he scores a kick.
Looks like he'll be a very good player, Hayes, doesn't he?
He's got the most talent out of all of that young brigade coming through, I think.
Kick almost to half forward. Richardson worked underneath it by Barry Hall. Harvey held on to. No free kick. Terrence handball wide. Still in a crunch. And it'll be a ball up. So St Kilda just in attack. Had a rotten run with injuries, but look at that form. That is dreadful. And you can see that Collingwood won their first 5 this year. So you take that away, they've won 4 out of 37, which is even put St Kilda's record.
Wakeland's run right past this contest into his own full forward line and taken Rocker with him.
And he's just propping down there too, almost playing like a second full forward. And if you're a full back, your full forward's not going to kick too many goals if you've got him playing at the other end. What Sav has to do in this case is, as soon as Collingwood win the ball, he's got to take off and make Wakeland pick him up.
Can he play halfway between the bounce down now and the goal square?
Well, he could probably play 5 metres in front of him.
Yep.
Rocker and Sierakowski, that's Anthony, and then Hayes sideways, no advantage. Orchard onto it in a hurry, and then kicks to half-forward Tarrant. We talked about him at the start of the game, and Dermott wrapped him up. It's been very good. Goes to the pocket, good kick. Fraser probably should have marked it in the end, and then Orchard coming through for a boundary throw-in.
I'll tell you what, once they did win the ball, Collingwood, Sav took off, and he had Darryl Wakelin off the bit trying to catch him. If they could have marked that ball over there and then centred it, Sav might have been on the end of it. Gee, good work from Sav.
There's some bad form around these two teams. Just one win since round 5, and that was against Port Adelaide by the Saints. So a ball up inside the 50. Collingwood attacking. Rocker, the early goal scorer. So Brown, Jukovic, Atkins and Scotland on the interchange. Sierakowski ran into Fraser. Handball, and then Anthony Rocker belts it forward, and Aubrey run over the line by Ziller for a boundary throw-in. It's the big monkey. Footy takes us to some funny places, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. One of the great men of footy. A fantastic bloke, the big monk.
40 metres out, Collingwood attacking. Elliott all over Fraser. Thompson tries to belt it away. Fraser whipped away out of it, and then Burns was touched off the boot. Well, it looked like it was, but Rocker's got it, and he's within range. Anthony this time.
The big brother in the goal square just signals up to the heavens and says, put it over the sticks.
Good little chip on the left foot. I don't know how that wasn't touched, but that was a great little chip to the man on his own, Anthony Rocker. It's a pretty similar kick to what Sav had, except from basically the other side, maybe 5 metres closer in.
Who's the better kick?
Severio, I reckon, from a set shot. Unless, if he's bad, he's horrible.
It's much of a muchness. They're both long kicks.
Coming back.
Both good kicks.
Well, they've kicked 2 good goals, because they're probably 50-50 goals, aren't they? And they've kicked them.
Yeah, I'd probably get tainted a bit too in the answer to that question. Having played with Severio in his best season, see him just kick prodigious drop punts, and probably tainted that way. But this bloke is no slouch with the set shot either.
So terrific kick by Anthony, just bending it back a bit, wasn't it? Tim Watson and the Saints coaching staff, so the Rocker boys are on the board, and so Collingwood. Burke, first time we've seen him, up and under, not quite to centre half forward. Harvey worked underneath it, and then belted away by Dimartina to Buckley. So Buckley wide to half forward, Fraser and Elliott. Burns going hard on Burke, and then Fraser did really well here. Clever kick. Mathiris away, can charge to Rocker, got him.
Well, I don't know what Wakelin was thinking then. It looked like he attempted to outmark Severio Rocker, and he was second in line.
Yeah, the ball actually came inside him, Derm. I'd like to see it from another angle, because I don't think the kick was directly into his path. But Sav just corrected. You can just see it comes a little bit inside. And Wakelin just tried to hold him off, and Sav was just too strong. He just bumped him away and took the mark.
You wouldn't think so coming in flat like that, but Wakelin also looked like he'd lost it in the lights.
Or either that, or he's expecting a better effort from his teammate who was in front that perhaps didn't push back as hard as he could have.
Shot from behind. He'll kick from about 49 metres. It's a beautiful kick. He's hit the post.
Smooth action though, be happy with that.
Almost
with
looks
the
like
action, not the result.
It looks like he's just stabbing the ball, and they just travel.
Oh.
They just go with no effort.
You've got no idea how far these two blokes kick it. They're playing with a different footy. That's what's facing him. Nothing in close. Just going for the distance.
And gets... Oh, Anthony's almost taken a beauty. Gets plenty of distance. Burke pushed down. No free kick coming from Ben Johnson. And then Peckett, who plays his 150th tonight, held up for a ball up.
Now, the one thing that would displease Mick Malthouse, I think, is it's okay if you fly, you need to take the mark. Otherwise, they want the ball belted back into the forward line.
Yep.
Sierakowski just got over Rocker, and then Ziller off one step, floats, and they've been untidy going forward, the Saints. Not that they've gone forward too often. Aussie beats one, but Mal Michael's got him and holding the footy.
So he was a bit stiff there, Aussie. I mean, he picked it up at full gallop, and he was just trying to free himself to throw a handball out, and he couldn't. He was wrapped up too quickly.
Buckley on the sweep, but he has to stop and prop, but it's a good kick to Lucuria wide. So Curie between halfback and centre wing. Keeps it low. Big fly. Good mark, Richardson.
Yeah, he's come down and dragged Barry Hall with him.
Orchard. You'd fancy Rocker again. Couldn't quite hold it. Hudson at the back. Bends his back a bit and then gets away, but forced to kick in a hurry. Michael and also Richardson. And Richardson in the front spot's held it. Collingwood on top, aren't they? Right on top here.
Started well, Mark Richardson too. He's got Barry Hall out of position and he's taken a couple of marks himself.
So he's in the heart of the centre square, practically nobody behind him.
Have a look. They're actually forming a line straight down the middle away from him, and they'll break from that now. There we go, well done.
Burns the kick. Waitland fancied himself, probably should have taken it, and then Mitchell comes away, tries a torpedo. Hall, the only man really there. Now some late help from Heatley. Richardson back. Hall to put the pressure on. He controlled it pretty well, Richardson, and then Michael has to control it and does it cleverly. And then, well done. Kept it down low. Lucuria, who looks a bit of a talented halfback, takes the mark. He's had a good season, Lucuria.
Gets plenty of the ball, doesn't he? Even when they have days where they get beaten in the pies, he does get plenty of the ball. Playing on the wing at the moment against Aussie Jones.
Going long to centre half forward. Dimartina made the contest. Getting back Aussie. Has to keep it in. He does. Hooks it back. Fraser through his fingers. Zilla's hands were good to Elliott. And then Elliott's little one. Okay. And then a little gift from Knowles to Thompson. The kick not good for Hall. Heatley's got a couple to beat. Chrissy DeComo just works it outside the 50. The race is on. Toe pokes it. Kicks it off the ground. Good hip and shoulder from Sirakoski. The ball's certainly in play. And now run out. So well done, Chrissy DeComo.
You've got to say he's done a good job for Collingwood at fullback this year. He's very workmanlike. He's deceptively quick. People think he's slow, but he's not. He's a bulky sort of size, but he moves particularly well.
And we look at the losing streak there. Collingwood's worst ever in season 91, and the current streak of... Sorry, when was the worst?
82,
it was 82, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Worst running streak in a season was 9, and they've equalled that, so they need this win tonight. 82 it was.
Centre wing. Anthony Rocker close to the line as Burns kept it in. He's marked it very well and wastes no time. Terrence the target. I think he's got him. He's got good hands, hasn't he?
Max Hutchison got caught spectating then.
Short to Lucuria, and he's going to stroll in and kick a third goal. That's too easy.
The problem with St.Kilda all started when Burns took the mark out on the flank. Because he took the mark right on the flank with his back to goal, Max Hutchison just took his eye off the ball and he was just spectating. He was just sizing up where he was on the ground, where his opponent was, and by the time he looked, the ball was already coming. Burns just turned around and punted it long, and Hutchison nowhere near his opponent.
Easy goal in the end. Max Hutchison, who Jason just talked about with Chris Tarrant. So the Saints are in a hole early here. Haven't really got it past inside their 50 with any degree of purpose at all.
I don't think they've had a possession forward of the centre.
Chance here, Dermot, as Burke goes to Brown, to Hall, I should say. Buckley read it very well to Lockyer. Kicks wide to Williams. Chasing hard, just keeps it in, and then Elliott tries to force it out, and they'll work it over the line.
Interesting watching Nathan Buckley trying to work himself into the game. He took up a spot at centre half forward when the game started, and he's just drifted downfield coming off the back of the square. And at the moment, he's actually picking up Robert Harvey, which is interesting.
Get the feeling that St Kilda are actually trying to say to themselves, let's just hang in the game if we can, and we'll take Harvey away from the forward line, put him in the middle and let him run out the back half of the game and hopefully overrun them. But can they hold themselves in the game until they can release their players into the midfield? So they're going to have to weather a storm here.
Harvey at half forward now, Paul Lucuria picking him up.
Elliott and Fraser. Fraser just with a bit of reach to Aubrey. Hooks back to about 50. Rocker got a poor bounce. Jones, oh, he had to go, and he did.
Good
and then
boy.
cheekily takes a bounce.
Well done.
And then runs a fair way, and then kicks to the running Harvey, and also Barry Hall. Little give okay to Knowles. This is their first chance, I reckon. To Heatley, very short. Back misses Harvey. They're sloppy. Back to Harvey, caught by Williams. Coughed it up a bit. Goes back to Hayes. Was a touch play on. Well done, Christian DeComo. To Orchard. The Saints are woeful early.
Yeah, the Lenny Hayes kick in killed them.
And Burns away at centre wing. and decides to go long. Can Sav take a big one at the back? Sierakowski chips in and takes a one-hander.
I just get the feeling that when Monkhurst gets his run, that will release this bloke, Sierakowski, into the forward line, give them a second target. And as I say, they probably just want to weather the storm before they can afford to run Monkey out for a full game somewhere during the second quarter. That's what's ahead of Clapp here. They all bottle it up. Straight kick down the line here. Numbers.
Knowles just kept out of it by Buckley legitimately, and then Williams gets it from Batheris. Burns and Burke in the pocket. Berkey belts to the line. Boundary throw in.
Right in the precinct where Berkey's made his name there, wasn't it? The true pocket.
Matthew Young getting ready to come on for the Saints for his first run tonight.
Hasn't played since that fateful night against the Bulldogs when he missed a target late in the game.
Yeah.
Forward pocket, Sierakowski back to Burke.
Not much ahead of him. He's got to go short.
Darryl Wakelin.
Rob Harvey works very hard for him, 120 metres away.
Clapp short, gee, some danger and all of that, though. He did take the mark.
And Harvey's still working.
And might get it here, Dermot. It's a kick to him. He went early, and then Buckley's at the back. He's got a bit of time. He's had a bit of an early Buckley. And Collingwood are away. Williams could have turned and went on, actually. Does now. And can penetrate here, low, but straight to Burke.
Well, that's his opponent. He's kicked it to his opponent. Berkey didn't push up and grab him once the ball went out. Good kick.
Yeah, good kick wide. So now Davis to Barry Hall on the burst. Got him. Now Heatley's one out. Goes now Heatley. And Hall, can he get to him? It's a bounce. Heatley. Underneath it was Mitchell. Well done, Mitchell. Just worried, lock you're out. Not taken cleanly. Free kick to Mitchell for a high tackle.
Yeah, taken after he got rid of the ball. Got a feel for Jason Heatley at the moment. He's made two definite strong leads.
Good leads.
And both times they've honoured it by dropping it at his feet. Chad Davis coming off.
He's the sort of player that his bread and butter is to lead the mark and kick a goal. And if they don't give him any sort of service, it's going to be tough for him to have an impact. And he really has been up and down pretty much like a yo-yo this year.
Yep.
Just needs a couple of breaks to go his way so he can actually show them what he can do.
Now, if this bloke was playing on from here, you'd back him in 9 times out of 10. Set shot, it's a different kettle of fish.
Hasn't played since round 6. He kicked 6 goals in the opening match of the year. And he's kicked that one.
Good man.
A bit of a steadier. So back to 13 points.
Get a look at it here, and he dishes off, and Presti just gets him too high. Yeah, he slips it down there, and he gives a bit of a grimace, Presti, just as he knows what he's done, and here's the whistle.
Neat kick from the pocket. (16 marks to 8 in St Kilda's favour. Early stages of this match, they've been chipping around. Sierakowski back to Thompson, tries to squeeze it through, and then Burke runs onto it hard and then goes off the ground. Probably the way to go in that situation. To Buckley though at half back, getting a lot of it, and then short on his left to Batheris. He's got Mal Michael really wide. He's got him.
Numbers on here.
Jones tried to hold him up. He knew what was happening. Adkins started on the interchange, kicks to half forward. Tarrant, Hodgson at the back. Young read it well. He'll be disappointed with his season this year, and out of play.
Well done to Scotty Burns. He's down the forward line. He's actually trying to hold the ball in there. That's his main criteria. But he actually tried to lay the block there on Max Hodgson just before we came into screen on that lead for Tarrant. There he is. He's just there to lend the experience and assistance to the young fella.
Fraser at the back. Thompson there.
Just like the way you did when you went to Collingwood, buddy.
Oh, I'd like to think so, Rob.
Oh, well, yeah, the big rocket did kick a few goals those glory years.
Let's take a look at the boundary line throw in here. Buckley's actually playing on ball. He's just playing a kick behind it. He's not going into the centre circle, but he is an on-baller.
Zilla, well done. Broke the tackle, and then on the left, gets it almost to the 50. Couple of flies. Buckley forced in the front. Hall at the back with Richardson. Richardson gets hold of it. Well done there by Knowles to hold it up back to Buckley, who slewed it out cleverly for a boundary throw-in.
I'll tell you what, there was some indecision on the Collingwood bench a moment ago. Mal Michael sprinted straight off, got to the line, saw no one waiting to come on, went back, then propped about 15 metres, turned around looking for a signal, and then ran back to his position.
Barry Hall front spot, just laid it down to Thompson good, and then Thompson to centre half forward. Heatley at the back, got it.
He does pull the occasional one like that. We saw him in that grand final against Adelaide. He took a couple early. Now, he doesn't take many contested marks, but sometimes if he can be stationary, flat-footed, and the ball will favour him on the drop, he can pull them in. And Presti's pretty strong in the body. You called it, Jason, 99% of his kicks, bread and butter, are on the lead. So
I thought Paul Williams perhaps could have come over the top and spoiled. You can just see him standing, waiting for the crumbs, Derm.
Yep.
I mean, you've got to quickly sum up, is my teammate in a strong position here, or is he in trouble? And then I've got to go and help.
Well, it's a beautiful set kick. If they kick this, they've weathered the storm all right, and they're doing okay. They've settled. If he kicks it.
40 metres out. Good kick, straight through.
That's a good result, Jason, from where they were about 5 minutes ago. I thought we might be looking at a procession about to unfold.
Well, the first 15-20 minutes has been all Collingwood. They just haven't hurt them on the scoreboard, and what they've allowed St Kilda to do is kick a couple of late goals and get right back into this game. Just a good mark that. He just stretched up and took it cleanly. Wearing 2 gloves.
Been a difficult week for Mick Malthouse and the Pies. 3-1 to 2 goals. Burke's won it out of the centre 3 times for the Saints so far tonight. Lacuria misses Buckley. He's forced to go back. Knowles running with him. Kicks to centre wing. Anthony Rocker forced forward in the tackle. And Harvey gets his first real crack and then kicks to Hall. Wasn't a good kick. Richardson, well done.
Not Hall's fault, that. That's a poor kick by Rob Harvey.
He's first for the night.
Yeah, he needed to favour his teammate there.
So gives it to Ben Johnson and then wide to Anthony Rocker at centre wing.
Well, Sav came up on a big lead, but there's nothing behind him.
Tarrant's got plenty of pace. And he's come from the goal square. Anthony Rocker wants to get to him.
And kicks it to where Tarrant was leading, but Sierakowski coming across for the second time tonight to take a mark in front of a leading forward.
Been in pretty good form, actually. Not by foot, though.
Dimatina. Quarter play on. Kicks to the hot spot. Elliott gets up high. And a free kick to Collingwood, is it?
Holding onto the jumper, he's caught.
Against Platt for Michael. Gee, it was a good spot because there were a couple of players around there, weren't there, including Elliott.
We must have seen a handful of jumper. I think that was the indication that the umpire gave. We'll just see if we can see. Couldn't see the left hand there.
Yeah. Now, is he playing? He started back. Has he drifted forward with play this time, Jason, or has he actually moved forward now?
No, I think he's moved forward with Platt picking him up. They've made a couple of changes up there, but they look a lot more dangerous. I like Sav Rocker playing in the Collingwood forward line. It gives them a better setup, a bit more structure to their play.
As long as he leads.
Yes, and then you can have Tarrant as a floating forward. And then you've got Anthony Rocker and Fraser changing, and Mel Michael who can chip in.
48 metres out.
Which is a wobbler.
And missed it.
All right, we're going to get a look at the kick-ins now, and you'll see that the Collingwood zone pulls out a fair way. And the last kick, they went for distance. Collingwood will remember that, and look at that there. They're all out. The closest person, Leon Davis, on the mark, so if there's a play on, he's got the foot pace to get to them. And the next person would be 35 metres out, with the bulk of them out around the 50. And he's going long again. Keep it simple, but they'll pick it off.
Let's see what does happen. Well, Sierakowski had a bit of it and he's been paid.
His hands are good, don't they? That's a bonus.
Comes wide. He's got Hudson, who's released here and can go on. Barry Hall wants it long, and he goes to the pocket with Heatley. It's over the back. This is half a goal. It's a goal. It's a goal.
One of those ones that was always going to roll on, wasn't it?
Just took off, didn't it? And,
yeah.
And straightened up and did everything right.
He has stabbed that low and has basically travelled nearly 55 metres to go through for a goal.
Boy, what's that? 3 kicks, was it? Waitland to Sierakowski to Hudson.
So look at the roll on.
Well, a big long goal. He's only kicked 4 goals in his career. You'll remember that one, Maxie. It was a big one. So the Saints back basically level with Collingwood after conceding a 3-goal start.
Yeah, he's not only taking marks, Sierakowski, he's winning the centre taps as well. That would be a concern for Collingwood.
So Fraser's in the centre. They had Anthony Rocker in early. And again, he's the dominant player, isn't he? To beat them. That was Sierakowski to centre half forward. Richardson doing well. And then Johnson to Buckley, sweeping effectively to Lucuria on the run. Good kick, actually. A terrific kick to Rocker. Elliott got caught in front. Now, with his penetration, he can get this right to the hot spot about 20 metres out. Goes in short and got his brother.
Gee, that was a good kick. He just waited. Sav was looking for space. He gave a couple of dummy leads. Darryl Wakeland covered him. And then he found a little bit of space to duck back up the middle. And the kick was just beautifully weighted. You could just see him looking. And then he says, that's where he's going. I'll chip it in front of him.
He does have a very good ability to spot the lead and wait for it and just put it in front. Not being demeaning to the big blokes, but not many big blokes are able to do that. It's a great talent.
The distance won't worry him, even though he'll probably kick from outside 50.
Kick it post high, Bruce.
That's a beautiful kick.
Great kick, isn't it, for goal?
Oh, no.
10 rows deep.
They're playing with different footies, these two.
They can bang it, can't they?
Oh.
It's just what it does mean when you've got players like Buckley and the 2 Rockers, you just ignore the 50-metre line. It basically becomes anything from the front of the square forward is now a goal-kicking opportunity.
They make a mockery of the statistical information you get about goals missed outside 50.
It increases the size of their forward line, the fact that they can kick it further.
Yep. It's good rebound footy from Lucuria, wasn't it? It was a long kick to Rocker and away.
He's actually moved over to Rob Harvey now and running off the half-back line on him.
Sierakowski's been the man in the middle. Down to Zilla. Quick kick to about 50.
Charge at him.
Lucuria. Well done to Johnson, who's had a little bit of it too. Left foot kick's a good one. So Collingwood now having a patch again to Scotland. Brings it back to Davis, who can really go. Look at him. Takes off. It's exciting to see. Left foot on the burst to Rocker. Well done, Elliott. Then back.
Oh, that'll go against Tim Elliott. He just went to push Anthony Rocker off as he was chasing him, caught him a little bit high, and Anthony Rocker gave his Academy Award-winning performance by throwing himself about 3 metres off to the side in a dive.
Well, this will be number 2 from this zone. He's already dobbed one from here, early days. Let's have another look.
Did all the hard work, Tim Elliott. He cut it off, gives the handball, just throws the arm back, and look at the dive.
He's stiff, but you've got to pay it.
Yep.
He's stiff, but you've got to pay that one. He wasn't looking at him.
But that's what the forward will do. When there's high contact in a Shepherd, he will throw himself down and make sure that the umpire notices it, because he knows if he gets a free kick, it's a goal.
Oh, you've got to give the umpies an out. You've got to give them something to hang their head on.
Tightish angle, but we've seen the skills already from the 2 Rocker brothers in terms of their kicking ability tonight. 35 metres out, coming back, looking good. They've got 4 between them. Well, I reckon Collingwood fans are happiest when those Rocker boys are playing well, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, they're the modern-day Peter Dacos. Not saying they're in the same league, but the same way that they just get the adulation out of the experience just by watching these 2 blokes play good footy.
Gee, he was stiff to Elliott. He wasn't even watching Anthony Rocker. He was keeping his eye on his teammate, and at his normal height, put his arms back to Shepherd. It's just that he's tall, even though Anthony Rocker's tall.
Justified in arguing.
Stature of Tim Elliott.
But he's never going to not pay that free kick. He's been good, Sierakowski.
Harvey into the centre square here. Just one kick, and it went to Mark Richardson. Let's see if he can get involved. Held on to a bit. Sierakowski's been terrific, and then belted forward by Thompson. Mitchell front spot.
He's working, isn't he?
To Peckett. And poor kick. Straight to Buckley. That's what's in front of Buckley.
8 possessions so far. That's his 9th.
And a good kick to Matthias. And then to Aubrey. Harvey cut it off. It's a good mark by Harvey. Forced to go now to Sierakowski. Well, he took on Michael, and he took a couple on and shrugged them off, and then kicks to half forward where Hall and Heatley are on long searching leads. Prestigiacomo gets it back to Richardson. bit up and under. Collingwood probably can get on the end of it though, and Fraser takes a courageous mark.
Now Michael should have gone for the tackle there. We saw Vosquez take him off last week for non-tackling.
Yep, and the runner's coming out as we speak to Mal Michael. He dropped his head straight afterwards thinking, I should have tackled.
So Fraser to centre wing, Rocker held on to, and
that's a great sign for the Pies, isn't it? A multiple tackle there, two blokes
He's coming off
the
boys.
body.
Yep.
Yeah, well spotted, Dip.
so off the ground for the bump in the centre square. Zilla just catching Fraser high.
Harvey's the one to watch at about 1 o'clock on your screen.
Can he get it to him? Nobody really gets a crack at Fraser. Just too hot for a Rocker. Back to Peckett.
He's looking for somewhere to go.
He sure was. Sirakoski he found in the end, who was forced to kick wide for a boundary throw-in.
He was running around in a little room then looking for the door out.
Isn't it always hard to tell with Mick Malthouse whether he's pleased with the effort or not so far?
There's a sternness, isn't there?
There's a body language that says, I'm not putting up with this any longer.
There's a lot of purpose in that walk tonight.
Yeah.
Thompson, little give to Harvey, who's had a nothing sort of an opening term. And at quarter time, Collingwood leads 5-2 to 3 goals. The Rockers, the big story of the opening term.
Done pretty well, the boys. They got on the lead. Severio good. Very encouraging there that he was able to get on the lead and give a target to the ball carriers further afield.
So we saw Big Barmy. There's Tim, and the Big Rocker brothers have been the two in the first quarter with 4 between them out of 5. Rob Harvey there. And speaking of the big things, you're watching Friday Night Footy on the Big Sports Network.
He went back to the back flank. They want to take him out of the heat position. They don't want to bash his body, but he will play off his man and read the incoming ball. St Kilda have to actually say, let's play through Knowles, or let's change that and put a hard tag on him.
32 to 18 as we start the second quarter here. Friday night football at the MCG. Harvey starting the second quarter in the centre square. Burke on Williams at centre wing. So Collingwood by 14 points. Fraser and Sirakoski, the #1 draft choice, and Sirakoski had a terrific opening term. Just got a finger on it, and then Burke belted forward. Just to Buckley though, gets distance to centre half forward. Elliott's taken a good one. Not paying.
Umpire, please.
Boy, that looked a mark, didn't it?
Gee, I thought he took it cleanly and then basically dropped it once he made impact with the ground. But he looked to have done good work. He pushed off Anthony Rocker. Oh, that's a clean grab, all the way down to the ground.
Let his feet go from under him, though. You want to keep the feet.
Sirakoski, and then Johnson comes back to Batheras, out wide, just held on to a bit there, Scotland. Back to O'Brien, little kick not far, and Sirakoski, boy, he's doing some work, isn't he?
He's everywhere at the moment.
Back to Andrew Thompson at half-back, kicks down the line. Hall versus Richardson was an interesting opening turn. Richardson had him early. Hall did a couple of things. Delaney was good in the end to get it to Harvey. Harvey to space, probably needs it to run out of play here. It does with Lockyer and Davis, boundary throw in.
The last possession that Buckley got, just on the half-back line then, he actually took about 4 paces back away from play and left Knowles about 5 metres in front of him just as the ball was bounced. Comes over the top, easy possession.
Thompson, good little give inside, and then Davis has got it out, and Zilla with a long one, which is going to be a behind.
There's a lot to like about the way Mark Richardson's playing on Barry Hall at the moment. He's really fighting hard for front position. Barry Hall is a strong player, good on the lead, likes to play from in front, and Mark Richardson's just not giving him that option at the moment.
Man on out wide.
Tibertina. Oh, good kick to Davis. Saw a measure of his speed in the opening turn, as we've done throughout the year. Fraser almost up to half forward now. Sav goes now. Gee, Fraser's got around Barry Hall a bit too easily, and then Barry dumps him and will be down the ground.
I don't think Barry enjoyed that.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he hasn't lost anything in effect because the pass hit the target, but I think Barry was just telling him, you don't blind turn me and make me look silly.
It was a soft dumping too.
It was, but Paul Williams came in and he's getting a serve as well.
It was a soft dumping. You make it hurt or you don't indulge in it.
Well, the fortunate thing may be, nothing against Burns, is that it isn't one of the Rockers from there, because
That's a good call.
Because they wouldn't have missed it the way they're kicking tonight.
He's played the majority of his football down back, Scott Burns, and probably not used to having set shots all the time. Didn't look comfortable at any stage over that one.
No.
Yeah, Barry did his, well, earlier did his block and...
Get out of my face, Willow.
I think I know who I'd back.
Big kick into the centre square. Then Zilla brought down. Thompson through. Well done. Really well done to Young, who's tried to straighten up. He's in trouble. He's gone. He didn't want to cough it up, but at the same time he ran out. And Paul Williams has been very good in the tackling department this year. Has got it. He's got Lucuria really wide. There's danger here. Delaney's got a chance. Collingwood have got some numbers around it. Lucuria to Burns, Buckley and Peckett. And the Saints still might get out of it, at least hold them up. Buckley, well done to Lucuria. Inside to Burns. Delaney and Burns again. Peckett over the top. Buckley on the left. It was touch play on. Bouncing ball. Wakeland runs past it. Elliott runs over the top of it. Hudson had to get a quick handball. He did to Sirakoski. Back to Wakeland. And then goes wide to Jones. Misses the target. Johnson to run with him. Aussie went without it. Coming in to try and help is Davis. Well done, Johnson. Gets it to Jukovic. Gets it back to Lockyer. Now, he's normally a pretty good kick. He spins around and then goes to the pocket. Sirakoski. Rocker played it really well at the back, Sav. Can Anthony get onto it? No, he gives a free kick away on Thompson.
That's disappointing. Sapp had done a terrific piece of play there. He didn't crash into the St Kilda player and give away a free kick. He punched the ball, brought it down to ground to give his Crummers a chance. But Anthony Rocker was just a little bit over the top in his approach there.
Knowles in short.
There you go. Buckley's played off, just zoned off, and that's why you get to use Knowles.
Goes long for Peckett, and he's a good kick, and he's marked it.
Barry Hall's got to be the next target. He's 80 metres ahead down there. There he is, just in between the goals there.
Richardson just zoning off in front of him.
Just too slow. Once you go hard. Just too slow to demand the ball on the lead there.
He's playing a fair game, Batheris.
It's a good kick too, Jason, as he's spotted Burns. And then Burns has got a couple on here. He's just kicked it to a space, so it's a poor kick. And Sirakoski has been terrific. 11th possession into Delaney, just forward of the centre circle. Saints with a chance here. He goes wide to Burke.
Now this is Heatley from here. He's got to be the bloke giving the hard lead now.
He does. Can he get it to him? I think he's got him.
Oh, that's all right.
Play on called. And then belting off the ground, O'Brien. Davis, oh, that's silky. Back to Buckley down low. Back to Davis. Can he take a couple on? He does with a bounce. And then little one, oh, a bit too cute in the end. Just too hard for Tarrant. Burke had to cough it up. Williams' handball was fantastic to Burns, who caresses it a bit and kicks a goal. Paul Williams, superb. A big goal because both teams had chances, haven't they, in the last 3 or 4 minutes?
They have. And finally Collingwood put together a nice little passage of play there. Some good work on the wing, although the kick coming in wasn't real special, but the pressure here on Nathan Burke, tackled by a couple of players, and Paul Williams swooped on the loose one and had good enough peripheral vision to realise that Scott Burns had made a bit of space, and after a couple of poor kicks, his last couple, Scott Burns, he finished off well there.
Blood roll on Williams here, so he's after a lovely little handball.
Great weight on the handball too, wasn't it? Would have been easy to just blaze away. Yeah.
Just the corner of the eye. It probably looks worse than it actually is.
Needs a steri strip in there and the hemorrhoid cream. That'll seize it. Stop it bleeding.
5-2 out of the centre of the Saints at this stage. I'll get another one here because Thompson was ridden into the ground and have the free kick.
Now they've got to have 2 directions from their leading forwards. Hall's got to go one way, Heatley the other.
Heatley's taken off now, and there's the kick to him. Courage from Batheris, wasn't it? He got back into the hole, beat them off the ground, boundary throw in.
He does work very, very hard, Ruben Batheris. He's not afraid to put his body on the line and give his backman a chop out. And as we see, Mark Richardson, he has been running hot tonight, taking a couple of strong marks, both times playing in front there, once again playing in front of Barry Hall. And he's kept Barry Hall to just the 1 kick and the 1 handball. Terrific job so far.
Saints in attack. Sirakoski down to Scotland. Taken off him in the end. Buckley's handball. O'Brien in the back pocket. Burke's got it.
Well read.
He's got Hall really short, and he's got Harvey short again. Now there's Heatley. Heatley's at centre-half forward. Burke kicks to him now. Preston Giacomo goes with him. Buckley did well. Harvey, can he turn around? He does. Little one okay to Thompson, who stood his ground very well to take a mark at 50 metres.
He's only travelled the bare 10.
They're going to find trouble here because it's too big a range for him, yet there's too many players in there packing it in. They're going to find it hard to get on the lead. Go to Hall.
No one's pushed a tall down. None of the talls have gone back for Collingwood.
Just hooked it a bit. Barry Hall and through for a behind. So the Saints.
Monkey coming on now for the Saints for his first run. Chad Davis off.
Yeah. Tall or small.
Well, Derm, you said earlier when Monkey come on, David Sierakowski will push forward now.
You'd imagine he would. He's had plenty of it, but he'd be pretty tired. He's been involved a fair bit.
Lucuria in really short, and just some indecision there between the two Collingwood players.
Giving them a chance.
They spilled it. Aubrey controlled it well. Atkins up under. Sierakowski and Monkey having his first crack. Sierakowski got a hand to it. Young ran onto it, then Elliott got it out, but not far enough. Johnson's handball good. Jukovic on the burst. He's got Sav really short. Took it down low. Oh, the give was great. Oh, Jukovic at full pace just couldn't get anything on it, could he? And then Pickett brought down, and it's run over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I reckon that's one of those cases where you've run so hard and you've worked so hard, you just don't have the natural coordination and energy to strike the kick perfectly well. Look, he's flat stick. He's trying to break away, and he just stumbles, can't lift the leg up, almost has an air swing.
Monkey at the back, down to Young. Wants the boundary line, finds a boundary throw-in.
You think, Jason, when Jukovic had his first opportunity, he was nice and balanced, had good pace up, and maybe should have gone for goal there.
Yeah, perhaps could have unloaded the first time. I just like the way Sav's doing the correct team things at the moment. He's really presenting himself, not giving away free kicks when he doesn't get delivered the ball.
And Jukovic coming off and Mel Michael coming back on.
There's the big Monkey.
We saw the past and the future there, didn't we? Of Collingwood in the ruck division, Monkhorst and Fraser.
Carried it for years. Look, Monkey's in the twilight of his career, not playing great footy, but still, for the bounce downs around the ground, as long as they take away that white line and boundary line throw-ins, he'd probably be in the top half dozen at competing at these type of situations. Just that massive body just leans all over the younger opponents.
Collingwood just inside their 50. Oh, he got rid of Fraser all right, and then tries to get a handball away. Davis tapped it down towards Scotland, and then Davis held onto it for a while, gets it out. Oh, Atkins high tackle, free kick against Zilla.
He went high, and the good thing about Stephen Zilla there is that if he's going to give away a free kick, he recognises in an instant, well, if I've given away a free kick, it's not going to be a soft one. And this bloke stood up to it. Well done.
Tarrant wants it long.
And that's where he's gone. And Tarrant can't
That's a free.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah, well spotted, Jose.
Well, Hudson hates it, but he ran across him, didn't he, and held him up.
There was a definite stretch of the jumper. I think Tarrant might have pushed Hudson away first, but Maxie Hudson definitely. You have a look here, and you'll see a handful of jumper. He just tackles him, puts the arm around him and stops him from contesting, and that's a good decision.
So Collingwood to kick another goal from a free kick. They certainly deserved it. And his goal, Tarrant. And again, they're away, aren't they? They've stretched the lead out. It's the biggest of the night, 25 points.
He hasn't done a bad job tonight, Maxie Hudson. He's kept Chris Tarrant pretty quiet, and he's managed to get down the other end and kick a goal himself. But you've just got to be careful when you deny a player the opportunity to contest for the ball. You have to be extremely subtle the way you go about it, and that was not quite subtle enough.
Once you've got someone the size of Monkhorst in front of you, all you need to do is touch body on your opponent.
45-20, so 7-3.
This is Monkey's weakness. When the white line's in the middle, they'll jump over the top of them.
Goes hard at Anthony Rocker. Rocker's handball to Aubrey, and then Aubrey wide. So the race is on. Johnson got a great bounce and took advantage and hooks back cleverly. Though at the back was Burke. Scotland's handball outstanding, and Josh Fraser, I think he's kicked it. They've got 8. They're rolling now.
Well, it's not out of reach, but that makes it tough, even in the second quarter now. And St.Kilda are still going to play the game that they best think will win them the game of football tonight.
I'll tell you what, Derm, have a look at Ben Johnson on the wing. He lives up to his namesake here. He reads the ball, and have a look at him go when he changes direction.
Aussie read the ball to bounce to the right, I'm sure of that.
Oh, this is brilliant play too. That handball there was superb.
Good skills for a big fella, isn't he?
Knows how to celebrate too.
Well, two 19-year-olds got it to an 18-year-old who kicked the goal. That'll warm the hearts of the Collingwood faithful.
Yeah. You watch Monkey here, he doesn't jump much, he just planes into them here.
He sure did. Burke, who was very good in the opening term of getting it out, and Dimartina's taken a good mark. So he's done well. He was in the Essendon reserves premiership team last year. Goes wide to Bathiris, who, as Jason said, had a terrific game. Hudson at the back. Johnson, he is quick. Either side by the look of him. He's got him. He's having a match, Ben Johnson, isn't he?
That was superb. There were two leads coming at him then. Scott Burns led short. He was probably only 5 to 6 metres in front of Sav Rocker, but he just said, I'll go for the main target, the big fella. I'll put it up in the air where he can run and jump. And I think there was a little bit of a fumble on the mark, but grabbed it in the end. This would be some kick from out there too. Tight angle.
7th possession to Ben Johnson. That kick to Severio.
It's coming back. They like it. He's kicked 3.
He's got the right boots on.
Well, he looked, we said in the preview, it looked a night that he had a chance to really do something, didn't it?
Good selection, wasn't it? I mean, St Kilda conceded the most goals of any team in the comp. And if you can run Severio into some form here against what is the worst defence statistically in the comp, that will go well for you and your endeavours to win a couple more games at the conclusion of the season.
So 3 to Rocker. There's Paul Williams patched up with Gavin Brown sitting there, hasn't had a run.
37-point margin, Bruce. St Kilda's last goal, 24-minute mark of the first quarter. Maxie Hudson reduced the margin to 2 points.
They need another one, Jason, in a hurry, don't they? As Scotland out wide to Johnson, who's having a patch. Look at him, no one can put a tackle on him. He's got their measure and then penetrates to centre half forward. Sav almost. Down low, good Burns. Wide to Anthony, off one step, up under. Untidy looking kick, but Davis has a fly. Zilla at the back. Did well there, Zilla. He had no momentum, but then terrific tackle. And then Aubrey chips in. It's a chance. It's a really good chance. They've got another one.
Oh, they're nailing him. They're just holding the ball in the forward line as well. Their work ethic, front and centre, is pretty good at the moment. They're just growing in confidence.
That tackle by Damien Adkins on Zilla, I think it was, was absolutely brilliant. Because he had momentum and he looked like he was going to run it out from there. And he just threw himself at him, stripped the ball straight away. You have a look at this. Zilla's got the momentum. He just dragged him straight down, ball free. And O'Brien snapped it beautifully.
Look, I'm all full of praise for Stephen Zilla, the way he plays his game, but when he gathered the ball then, he thought slowly and he looked slow as well.
4 goals in 4 minutes to the Pies.
And a 7-goal margin. They're on a real roll here, aren't they? Rocker down. Someone has to stand up for the Saints in a hurry. Burke gets it from Delaney, floats it to about 40 metres, and now gets into about 30. Buckley sweeps from the back. Looks, takes his time. It's a great kick. Have a look at this. Scotland's away. They're exciting, Collingwood. They were in the first 5 rounds and they're exciting at the moment. Tarrant low, not hurled. Hudson, little give okay to Peckett. He knew he was there. And then inside to Thompson. Thompson has to go to Heatley. Can he get him? No. Presti Giacomo did well. And then Zilla run down with tackles left, right and centre. Collingwood getting numbers. Beetham to 4-4. Good mark. That is a great grab.
It's a fair stretch, isn't it?
Yep. Presti Giacomo gobbled up about 5 metres that he conceded on the lead to Heatley. Then he's got Heatley for pace.
His closing speed is really good, Dermot. But the other thing is there's a tendency for the forward just to back off a touch at point of impact.
Yep.
He comes steaming and just gets that fist in late.
The Stephen Silvani lunge.
So Mark Richardson after this very good mark. Wide. Monkey did well. Belts it back in the Sirakoski direction to Harvey. No impact so far to Delaney. Off one step, just up under, hoping really in the end, but Buckley read it.
He just walked through 2 opponents then, keeping his eye on the ball and took a chest mark.
Looks for Lockyer. Now Peckett will fancy himself here. Now Davis, watch out. Peckett's there. Davis has got him. No, Peckett did well. He fended him off and then comes out wide. Dimartina who's played neatly so far tonight until that kick when he bangs it out on the floor.
What about...
His brother will be proud of him right now.
Yeah. Knee on Leon's foot speed just to catch up there. If you've got that kind of pace, you don't carry much weight, and with it goes the strength. He just fended him off too easily there, Peckett, didn't he?
He did. Barry Hall, who needs a big one here, doesn't he? He needs a big match.
Doesn't look excited. Get into it, Barry. Grit it.
Kick a goal.
Up under and straight to Anthony Rocker. Just blazed to nobody. Good kick. That is a great kick to Lockie. Should have marked it. Really should have marked it. And then inside Young to Delaney. Platt might get a crack at it here, but he's got Collingwood everywhere around him. They try and snatch it off him. Well done, Zilla. Got a high tackle in the end and then pats it down to Delaney. Young, he's got Elliott laterally. Decides to take a couple on, but the kick not good. Buckley's been terrific. He's just too good back there, isn't he? Reads it too well to Fraser. Now Davis, can he go here? Peckett with him. Inside though to Dimartina. Kick of the back, Tarrant, big fly. Ball comes to ground. And, oh gee, did Monkey get rid of Tarrant? And straight to the line.
The funny thing was there, when Chris Tarrant stood up to chase the ball, he was confronted by a monkey.
Gee, Harvey's struggling tonight, isn't he?
5 possessions, 2 in the first quarter, and look, he's just not finding the mark either. Only of those 3 of those 5 possessions have gone anywhere near it.
Anthony Rocker at the back has read this really well. Left foot, he's kicked it. It's all happening. That is brilliant. Well, maybe there's an element of luck in all of that, but it was brilliant footy.
Oh, look, he roved his own tap. He ran on, picked up the loose ball, threaded the needle on the left foot. Look, he punches it forward. He says, well, it hasn't gone to anyone, so I'll keep going. The ball does bounce quite nicely there. Sits up for him beautifully. Knows he's got to hit it on the left edge of the ball to bring it around, and have a look at that.
It's a great kick.
Oh, superb. And celebrates as well, deservedly so.
Oh, it's a good life being a coach, isn't it? You might have lost 9 in a row, but you're 8 in front.
Was that a half a smile?
Yes.
Don't get a shot at Tim right now, because it wouldn't be so good, would it? 11-3.
Burke.
He's touched on the way through to Buckley. Just held up in the handball. Ben Johnson, a high tackle, free kick.
Look, I don't know if someone like Zilla's got the pace to go with Buckley, but you'd be inclined now to get an experienced player on Buckley across Collingwood's half-back line. He's just finding it too easily, too experienced, and just running Knowles around.
He's had 18 touches, Buckley, 18 possessions. Kick from Lockett, down to Monkey, to Harvey, to Elliott. Just a little one. Now he can go Thompson in, has to go. Barry Hall probably over the top, now to centre-half forward. Heatley also at the back. Couple of flies from Collingwood as well. They'll be happy here. Michael, good shepherding from Buckley, and then Michael across the face. Aussie's going to mark it. Got it.
That was always a dangerous kick.
Back to Burke, but he's outside range, isn't he? At 52.
He's 2 kicks away from it.
Still got a short option right in front of him.
Got him. Knowles, well,
there's Knowles, and as I say, Buckley will play off him.
Well, Buckley's back virtually in the goal square, doing.
Yep, well, he's just reading the play.
Yep.
That's all he does. Knowles only coming up for his 6th possession. Buckley's 18. So I think the move is imminent, that you've got to go the hard tag. Good kick though, good ride, but it's way off.
Well, he was just outside his range, and the tendency when that is the case is to hook the ball, and he's done that. But you're right, they need to make a change. They've virtually got to put a forward on Nathan Buckley, who's a tagger.
That's 18 returns off the half-back line. That really hurts. That's smart.
So Lockyer runs off, and then wide. It's a dangerous kick, actually, and Thompson's got it. He had Adkins really wide, and he decided to go Lucuria, but it was fraught with danger. And Thompson, who's working really hard here, takes the mark.
Sirakowski's worked through there, and he didn't pick him up till late. That was a good lead.
Oh, somebody's
Platt right at the back.
Who's responsible for Platt? I think Buckley's on him at the moment.
It's a good kick. That's a chance. That's a real chance. He kicked the goal.
I thought that was out of his range, so that's a great kick there.
Well, they needed that. They needed 3 more in a hurry, but it's a good goal, and he's been all right, Thompson.
Yeah, he's been in and around. He's starting in the centre bounces. 12 possessions for him, 4 marks. He's been a get-around type player, just lacking the support through the middle. Without Harvey finding it, say, 12 to 15 times in a half, you are the man, and you've got it 12 times, and you don't really kill it with your pace either.
Well, will it stop the rot? Because Collingwood have kicked 6-0 in this quarter. Still a big margin here. 7-goal game before half-time. Fraser down. Scotland's been good. 3 tackles around him. Ball up again.
Interesting to see Monkhurst. Everybody who's challenged him body on body, knowing these players inside out. I mean, he was the kingpin in the gym at the club, so he's fearless compared to them. I mean, he's got to have body contact. They'll jump all over him if he doesn't get body contact. There you go. So once you take away that white line, he's as good as any ruckman going around. He just doesn't get around the field like he used to, and he can't jump in the middle.
The kicks to Barry Hall and Heatley. Hall's got it, I think. Free kick for hanging on.
He's about to go dirty,
just pushed him under the ball, and Mark Richardson's done everything right tonight.
Goes wide to Johnson. Lock is on here. They've been able to find space, haven't they, Collingwood?
Heatley coming off for St.Kilda. O'Brien as well for Collingwood. He's staying on.
Thanks, Dip. So Tarrant was the target a long way from Lockyer on a boundary throw. So Heatley off.
That was like the emergency touchdown landing for O'Brien, but then took off again. He ran right to the bench, didn't he? And ran along the white line.
He was just about to change over with Jukovic and then
kept going.
Kept going, yeah. And Mitchell replaced Heatley, boys.
Thanks, Dip. So that's the second time a Collingwood player's run to the interchange tonight. And
I've just been watching Alan Stoneham, the runner for St Kilda. He has got a shopping list out there, and a lot of boos have been made, but Buckley and Knowles are still on each other there.
See, Tark and Lockyer just sprinted from the far side of the ground to the interchange and ended up staying on.
So Scotland's hands have been good, and then Johnson gets it to Batheris. Probably the wrong option in the end. Then Adkins got it from O'Brien. This will be a tough ball to mark. Wakelin and Rocker. It was a good contest in the end. They both had a crack. Young over the top, probably got a knee in the head. Elliott towards the line. Well done by Lucuria. And then Harvey should force forward. Keeps it in play, interestingly. And they may pay for that as it comes back. O'Brien down short, just a bit too cute. Young, well done. Delaney to Harvey. And Harvey forced to kick in a hurry and wobbles to centre half forward. Bad bounce for Hall. But he does look out of sorts. Back to Mitchell, who's just come on the ground. Coughs it up. Preston Giacomo running backwards and then hooking back to a one-on-one. Burke did well to work his man underneath and then hold his feet and then well done. Gets it out to Chad Davis. Now Davis.
Oh, you've got to go short.
Oh, he went for a taunt. Everyone had let up the ground. There was nobody in front of him. He had to try and kick the ball 60, and it was just Mark Richardson sitting back.
Look for the little man in the green outfit to run out to Chad Davis after that selection.
Batheris wide to Anthony Rocker. He gets rid of one and takes another on, and then Zilla tries to bring him down. Burns attacks hard. He's got O'Brien. Then you provide some sort of a shepherd. Back to Burns. Burns at 48, 46, 47 and misses again with a behind.
He's a bit scrubby by foot, Burns. He'll give you everything he's got, heart and soul, but he's just a touch scrubby by foot.
Kick 1-2 tonight. Getting a lot of it, like a lot of his teammates.
There we go. There's the huddle, the bunch. It's not real tight at the moment. Packett, who is a good kick, and he gets them breaking out now. What they'll try and do is pull them all out and leave somebody one out up the middle.
So he's gone to Monkey. It's got over the top. Buckley.
It's too good.
Slick handball back. This will be a great goal. 40 metres out. Sensational.
He's too smart for this kid Knowles at the moment. Knowles has got talent. Everybody knows that. But this bloke has talent, agility, ability, and he just knows where it's going. He beat him with a football brain then. Watch this after it takes off. Let's have a look at it this way. See him come in from the right-hand side of screen. He's read it. And he loses him through the traffic there. Now he's got the 5 metres.
He was 6-4 favourite for the Brownlow after round 5, Buckley. He's 12-1 before this match.
Well, if he carries on, he'll get 50 possessions tonight, unless they do something, and he'll get more votes tonight.
Not if you're giving them. Jones.
Good call.
That's cool.
Back to Ben Johnson having a game. More about that later with Dermy's votes. Elliott, stay tuned. Elliott and Rocker. Well done, Anthony Rocker. And then Delaney's got him. But it was still a contest for A. Rocker, which was good.
Yeah, he was a bit stiff. He'd got rid of his man, done the hard work. He didn't realise he was being approached from behind. But he's tried his guts out, Anthony Rocker, tonight.
Clap off.
Burke. Buckley, well done, Knowles. He's beaten him for once tonight. To Harvey, he's very subdued, isn't he? To Zilla, and he's found Barry Hall at about 48, 49 metres.
Now, I don't know if Barry can get the distance here. What's he like, Jason, over this range?
He's borderline. Look, he'll probably just get there if he goes back and has a crack. He's a pretty solid kick from 50. That's one of the few times he's been able to lose Mark Richardson in traffic, let him up and then doubled back and got the short pass.
Barry's...
Sikoski's knee looks a worry, doesn't it? Which will be a real shame. There just doesn't look to be much adrenaline flowing through this man's body tonight. This might help him. Let's see if he can get something to pump. Up under, bit lazy, not going to get there, and Fraser's marked it. It's as if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, Big Bad Barry, isn't it?
Yeah, well, there was not one St Kilda player down. Knowles at 6-1 or so, and he was out of the contest. Every other St Kilda player in the goal square was your legitimate small crunning player. That was one of the easiest contestant marks.
There's no other tools up there for St Kilda, and Serakowski was being treated for a knee injury.
So in short to Presti Giacomo, the kick to Burns at the back, Young belts away. Oh, clever play, Batheris is having a terrific match. Back to Presti. Gee, he's gone a long way forward, and then wobbles to half forward. Sav and Waitland.
Oh, good play, Sav.
It did well. Back Burns can't quite get a handle on it. Got half a high one. Comes inside. Davis, who's been clever. And it's half-time here. And it's all good for Collingwood. 12-4, so they kick 7 in that quarter. And the Saints are miserly 4-2. So it's a 50-point advantage. Barry Hall, well, the biorhythms just aren't there tonight for him. For Mickey they are, and for Tim Watson, well, he'll be dreadfully disappointed here at half-time. Tim, by the way, will be joining Malcolm Blight, Mike Sheehan and Jared Healy on Monday night on the couch on Talking Footy. And back after the break will be Dermot and Jason.
Now the Saints, what do you reckon? They can come back a little bit?
Yeah, I think so, Dipper. They should put in a pretty good half, so...
You gone for 14 points?
Yeah.
Oh, hang in there. I'll keep you warm, don't worry.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Dip. About to start the second half. Friday night footy, Collingwood 50-point lead. Will they go in for the kill here, or can the Saints salvage something from what is a bit of a wreck from that first half? And under Young sits underneath and takes a good mark.
Robert Harvey's got the short sleeve on this half.
Yeah, they'd want to get him free up, not just his arm movement.
Elliott probably held on to, no free kick. It's at half forward. Saints need a couple early, don't they? Collingwood, Atkins over it. Well done. Richardson's been terrific. Buckley outstanding. Just backpedaling. And decides just to go short to Dimatina.
Tim Elliott's gone to centre-half forward, and Barry Hall, who will run off the back line, has gone to centre-half back.
Terrible kick.
On the wrong side for him, but straight to Aussie Jones.
Well, he was just trying to chip to Scott Burns, who had basically gone to the centre-half forward position, or the centre-half back position for Collingwood, centre-half forward for St Kilda, and he just underweighted it. It just came a little bit off the side, fell a bit short, and Aussie Jones was just waiting, couldn't believe his luck.
Big chance here to give the Saints something in the first couple of minutes of the second half. Looks good. So Aussie gets it.
Well, we saw against Geelong about 3 or 4 weeks ago, the Pies, through their first blemish of the afternoon was Steve McKee, the out-of-form ruckman, turned it up, and Geelong continued the march on. I can't see the same happening here. A blemish, and they pay for it.
It's good to see a few of his teammates just come up and say, look, we know what you're trying to do, just make sure you don't make the same mistake next time, keep your head up.
And just while that was happening, Barry Hall has gone to centre-half back on Anthony Rocker, and he does play pretty well as a backman when he gets the opportunity to run forward, and he'll have a go at putting the wind up, young Anthony.
Sikoski got his hand to it. Delaney tries to slap it out. Scotland pushes forward. Back to Beetham. Still with Beetham. Some good shepherding by Burke there. Gave him a second crack at it. And then Elliott and also Richardson. Richardson's had a very good match. A bit high on him there, Davis, but no free kick. And then Burke goes hard at Leon Davis. Elliott has a go at it and then gives it back to Burke. Burke's left-hand handball was terrific to Peckett. It's just a bit of hope here for the Saints, the way they've come out after half-time. Presti Giacomo got rid of Heatley a bit too easily. Back to Lockyer. Lockyer wants the line, and he finds it for a boundary throw-in.
Dermot and Jason and Bruce, you probably see now that Andrew Thompson now playing on the half-forward line. Buckley's his opponent. And Mark Orchard, O'Brien, Brown and Jukovic on the bench for Collingwood.
Thanks, Dipper. So between half-forward and centre wing, Thompson back to Harvey. They need him to have a huge second half here. Richardson, Davis will have to slap it out, and he does. Lucuria in short was good. Williams back on the ground to Buckley, who's been the dominant figure in the match.
He's looking for Sav on the long lead, but it didn't come.
Burns in the end, no free kick. And here's Sav, handball to Williams, back inboard. He's at 50, he's got Burke just stopping and propping, goes to the pocket to Tarrant, got him.
You know, the couple of times that Chris Tarrant's been able to take a mark here, Maxie Hudson has just got lost watching the game and not watching his opponent, as we see him square the ball up to Heath Scotland. He just has to make sure that while he's looking at the game, he's touching his opponent, knows where he is. Yep. But he's done a pretty good job on Chris Tarrant tonight.
Yeah, he's actually physically a good matchup for him.
One of the few with pace that can stick with him.
So Scotland should goal here. Not a renowned goal kicker, but not much of an angle, as you can see. But he's hooked it badly. And in the end, it's a behind. In the end, Tarrant in that pocket left footer, probably his chances were not too bad from there, were they? I guess he's done the right thing from a team point of view.
Yeah, when a bloke's that free in that sort of position, you basically have to give it to him.
Yeah. So Peckett to himself and then goes long. So Harvey, this is a good sign.
Good signs early for the Saints. Just the whole attitude, the first 5 minutes of this third quarter.
So with Sierakowski on the move through, Monkey gives you value at the bounce downs, but Sierakowski gave them that extra player moving through defence. Good smother there on the man on the mark.
That was Fraser. Good tackle on Lenny Hayes, who's had a quiet one, and then
that's a free.
It was slung out on Bethera, so the advantage given to Scotland, and Scotland's got Burns at about 45, running on Anthony Rocker. No one in the goal square for the moment.
Tarrant coming from the back.
Peckett getting back. It's going to be close. Oh, it's a goal.
I reckon he touched that.
He's going to pay
a goal.
Burns kicks a long one.
He's touched that, Bruce.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you, but you can tell from the goal umpire's body language he was always going to give it a goal.
He's closed the eyes to the touch. He's touched that. In normal motion, he's touched it. He's touched that. In normal motion, you can see the spin of the ball change as his hand swipes by.
Clearly.
Well, the replay shows that Peckett certainly touched it before the ball went over. You could tell from the body language from the goal umpire it was always going to be a goal from his point of view, wasn't it?
But when you're down, don't things go against you.
Yes.
Poor old Saints.
It's always the way. Well done, Burnsy. Another one in there.
Fraser and Sierakowski, Adkins in there, Harvey, and then Young to half forward. And I think a free kick just hanging on against Davis to Lucuria.
Yeah, again, the man in front gets the benefit of the doubt. He fought hard to hold his position. Did well, Lucuria.
Kicked a first quarter goal when Collingwood were right on top, and they continue to be now. Buckley, just a little shove, good mark. And this is where his long kicking is a real advantage out here, isn't it?
Well, he'll just pick the best option from the forwards and probably hit him on the lead.
Got him. Oh, Sav didn't take it in the end. He's actually been very clean tonight, Sav. That would probably be his worst blue.
Yeah, well, I mean, that should have been lining up for number 4. That was perfectly delivered.
Let's have a look and see what you think with Peckett running this one down, touching it.
Oh, that's clearly before the line.
Yep, he got a bit of it. The umpire's just blocked his mind out to it. He's just looking... Yeah, I don't know what he's looking at. I'll let him off.
Lenny Hayes at centre wing. Goes to half forward. Elliott, front spot. Richardson having a really good match, and then Jones off the ground.
He's just looking for something, the umpire there.
Well, he has done everything right, Mark Richardson tonight, but you just like the way things are going at the moment. Saints are at least trying to make something happen to turn it their way.
Still trailed by 50. Richardson and Elliott. Harvey at the back.
He wants to play this half.
Sure does. Back to Hayes, to Burke, in the right spot. Well, he's just got to go back and have a shot, doesn't he?
With his natural swing, this will test him. It's going to come across the face of the goals and swing right to left, and that means he's going to have to, which it'll die right on the line. So this will test him, unless he can slightly bend it left to right.
He's had plenty of the footy. The skipper from the pocket.
No, it's a bit closer than I thought.
And good kick. Berkey's got it.
He was actually, by the time he kicked it, he was about 5 metres closer than I thought, and that would have put a different complexion on the swing of the kick. He's had a go, Berkey, hasn't he? As always. 16 possessions.
Well, you take the long goal of Burns away, and the Saints have started positively here. And Harvey's been very busy, hasn't he?
Yeah. In the centre.
Tim Watson, 83 to 38. So a couple of goals.
He's up to 14 possessions, Harvey, too. So he's clocked them up quickly this quarter.
He's had 4 this quarter, and Anthony Rocker's already kicked 1 great goal tonight. And I say 1 great goal. He kicked 3, but 1 from a boundary throw, and he almost did the same thing from the centre bounce there.
Yep, that was almost another contender. He just didn't strike the ball. You could see it turning over a bit.
Just getting clear here and then running flat out. It just faded away at the end. Peckett wide to Beetham.
That's for the first time tonight. Every other time's been down the middle, and they've been picked off.
So Beetham gets the ball to centre wing. Just to some space. Elliott running on it. Didn't take it cleanly. And then Dimartina run down by Mitchell. Good play in close there by the Pies through Johnson, ball up.
He's giving the movement at half forward. Barry Hall was playing a lot deeper, a lot closer to goal, and that kick off the half back line was finding nothing. They're like 2-3 bounces before it got to Hall, whereas at least Tim Elliott is meeting the ball up there and giving the contest, and people are running past him.
Sierakowski to Burke to Harvey, who's had more posies so far in this quarter than anybody else. Early days, admittedly, but that's against them for hanging on or not getting it out. And Collingwood away, and they kick to centre half forward. Tarrant, well done at the back by Hudson. Ziller against the flow here, but he's got some time. Back to Peckett, over to Delaney. Delaney's got to be accurate here, and Barry Hall lost it, I think, but found it again, fortunately. Don't do anything silly here, Barry. Gives it over to Peckett, who's got a bit of time, can run his full measure, bit up and under to centre half forward, and well, missed the lot there, Presti DeComo. Dimartina got a quick kick away. It was an important one because the Saints had a sniff. Now Davis could be important. Gee, can Ben Johnson go too? Well done, Ziller, to bring him down. Davis decides not to take him on with pace to Johnson. Terrific handball to Lockyer. Lockyer could nearly finish this. 50 out, gives it a bit of a hook right to the square. Or Tarrant's given away, I thought, a free kick. Yep.
Oh, he hasn't paid it.
He hasn't paid it. He went an hour before acceptance, Chris Tarrant. And used the hands, Warwick Kappa style.
He's done everything there. How the umpire did. Well, they're not seeing much in that goal square.
You just see him here. He's at the back there. There's the hands. Gee, doesn't get the lift.
You'd have been bluing if they'd gone through for a goal if you'd been a Saints fan. Peckett to Hall.
They're having a bit of trouble with their bunching at centre half forward, the Saints. They're not doing it in a tight enough bunch.
Rocker was good again, wasn't he? Defensively, and then Mount Michael bangs to centre half forward. Trying to bring it down Scotland. Burt getting to a lot of contests. Back to Hayes. Back to Harvey. Just to Peckett now. He's got Chad Davis on. He'll find him at half back. Now the next one. Who works for him? Aussie's working for him hard. The kick down the line. Lockyer going with him. Needs the bounce. Lockyer just got rid of him cleverly. Buckley sweeping back. Richardson down low. Lockyer stops and props. Gets it over to Batheris, who had a great first half, to Dimartina. Dimartina into the heart of the centre square to Scotland, who's away now. He's got Anthony Rocker short. He's almost within range.
That's a good call.
Could almost go all the way here.
He's waiting for the quick Tarrant lead. He's going to go over the top.
Well, it's a half a kick for him, and he hooks it, and Tarrant's got a chance. Going to ground, he's on his wrong side. Can he turn Hudson around?
Well done.
Maxie's got him.
Just bottled him up, didn't he? Now, that is the value of just watching the body of your opponent. It would have been so easy to charge him, but he just encroached on him, bottled him up, and eventually ran out of options, Tarrant.
It didn't look like he wanted to turn onto his right foot to snap it either.
Hall to Young.
He's running rampant this quarter, Harvey.
It's like it's a different bloke, isn't it? Heatley up the ground. Jones in the pocket. There's the kick. Aussie gets the bounce and turns Lockyer. He'll go for it, Aussie. 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and a goal.
Great goal.
It's kick 2 in this quarter.
Well, the link's Harvey, isn't it?
He's had 6 possessions already in this quarter.
Suddenly they're finding a link somewhere in between the two 50-metre zones, and gets it onto Heatley. Not a bad kick by Heatley under pressure there. He was always going to turn that way.
A good turn though, at pace.
That's a trademark there. Most players instinctively turn back in to get onto their natural foot, and he knew he was going to wrong foot his opponent.
Great shot there from the pocket.
Gavin Brown warming the boundary line, about to come on for his first run tonight for the Magpies.
They've had some fade-outs, Collingwood, after half-time. Probably the most infamous against Geelong. The Saints probably a goal or two away from having a real crack here, aren't they?
Yep, ball pinned to Lenny Hayes there. And Batheris, who had this startling first half, he's got the job on Rob Harvey, who's just taken the bit between the teeth, and he said, I am going to play in the middle for the second half. Batheris is just struggling with him a little bit at the moment. Look at him work through here.
Sirakoski again getting hands on plenty of it. Dimatina, good squeeze in the end. Scotland goes back to Adkins. It goes long, up to 50. Tarrant and Hutchton, good contest as it's been all night. Delaney, they've got the numbers, the Saints. Young in trouble. Back to Wakeland. And Wakeland very short to Delaney. Probably meant for Burke, but Delaney had to go. And then the kick into the centre. Richardson's been supreme on both his opponents tonight. Buckley's been Il Supremo all night as he kicks wide. Dimatina ran hard and marked. Little short one, and Fraser running onto it. Well done, Zilla, just to get a finger on it, a fist, and then Rocker forced to the line. They've just been able to dry Collingwood up here, haven't they, in terms of Collingwood scoring?
They just missed him on the way through again. The ball got kicked over his head, but the St Kilda player couldn't spot Rob Harvey in the middle of the square when they kicked to Elliott over his head.
So Gavin Brown having a run. Barry Hall.
His hands have not been clean at all tonight.
Oh, and robbing him, Johnson. And I think he's kicked. Well, he might have missed, has he?
He's missed it, I think, boys.
How quick is he off the mark, this kid? He just exploded. He picked up a couple of metres in the twinkling of an eye just to smother the handball and then swoop onto the loose one. And he was travelling. He was travelling that quick. He was confronted only a few metres out from goal. Look at the acceleration.
The indecision by Hall let him in there, didn't it? I mean, the inability to one grab. There we have a look down there. And Rob will take it away and go over the top to Lenny Hayes. Yeah, good move, that one. Well done.
They've got a lot of work to do on their bunching, St Kilda, because there's no excuses for not freeing up a loose target when you do that.
It's taken too long, and Tim Elliott's led up too close, so now he's going to have to kick to a static pack or find someone sideways.
So Burke.
Play it on, Burkie.
Short to Hall, so they've worked it almost to centre wing here.
Now keep it away from Buckley if you're looking to coach this.
Kicks it to Buckley.
Heatley, big fly, good grab. Now Jones one out here, goes now. Heatley goes to the pocket. It stops a bit. Jones with one hand. Mitchell, Aussie, worked by Lockyer, goes to ground, boundary throw in.
It's not a bad ploy the way they've restructured St Kilda. You said Barry Hall to centre half back, Tim Elliott to centre half forward. Aussie Jones playing deep next to Jason Heatley. He's back on the ground and he's starting to get into the play a bit. It's really throwing Collingwood out.
The thing with Tim Elliott too, he leads up hard enough that he makes space behind him for the full forward to lead into.
O'Brien was good. Buckley's handball a bit hot, to be truthful. Back to Beetham at 40 metres. Left foot, hooks back to the goal square. Jones again, one out, he's got it. He's kicked 2 in this quarter and he's about to kick 3.
Well, conceding weight there, Aussie Jones, but he actually, bodily, is strong. For pound, he's reasonably strong.
There was another bloke last week who kicked 9 goals in the second half against Collingwood. He's about the same size as Aussie Jones, and he was on Lockyer for a fair bit of the second half. His name was Jeff Farmer.
He's had a tough night, Tarkin Lockyer.
So Aussie's kicked 3. He's had a tough week, I reckon.
That is not a bad point. Now, Tarkin Lockyer mirrors this team, Collingwood. He is a very good player in the making, Tarkin Lockyer. If you took him off Aussie Jones now, would that dampen his confidence so much that even in what we would suspect a Collingwood win, that he's been beaten if he gets moved from his man?
Yeah, without a doubt, but it's the first time they've actually made the person that's playing on him a key last week and this week, a target.
4 goals to 1 in this term. Are they a chance?
They've worked their way back into it.
Still can't say yet. Well, with this bloke finding it, yeah.
Oh, that's a floater.
It's this next bloke's got to find it. Aussie Jones in the 5. He's got to kick 6 or 7 in the specific matchup.
Well, speaking of running hot, Harvey has been in this quarter, hasn't he?
It is. It's almost like the change of jumpers giving him a new lease of life. He had the long sleeves on. Maybe he felt he was being hung on to a little bit too easily. So he's got the short sleeves out, and he is gathering a mountain of possession this quarter.
Lenny Hayes to the pocket. Lock your front spot. Belts away. Buckley was a hot footy. Gets a second crack. Right. The handball along the line was clever. Bathiris at halfback. Then kicks to Fraser, but misses him. Hall, that's a better attack. Harvey's hands were good. Sierakowski was their best player early. Kicks to a space. Nobody there. Richardson. Barkley. Well tackled Mitchell. Back to Richardson. And then Richardson pretty steady to Burns. Delaney just the hands on him. And then Burns to Delaney. Delaney slaps it back. Beetham getting a couple of touches. Gets a handball out to Burke. Can run away a bit in short. Saints winning the 50-50s there. To Knowles, not too sure what to do. And then decides to bang to centre-half forward. Heatley's the flyer. Getting it away, Presti to Como. Lucuria taken high shortly by Zilla.
Had to come in with his feet on the ground, didn't he? He jumped into him and they put him over the top of the shoulder. He's having a few words to say, Stephen Zilla, but that's more at himself.
Ben Johnson kicks to Presti wide. And then a kick to centre wing. Gavin Brown, well played, Young. Very well played. The Saints are on top here. They're right on top. Mitchell's got it. There's 6 goals behind on the board, but they are winning most contests out there at the moment. Burke on, got him.
Good kick. Good weight.
If Nathan Burke didn't mark it, I think Aussie Jones would have got it on the lead either way, but their aggression has been totally different. Their approach at the ball, and if the Collingwood players got the ball, their approach on him has been totally the opposite of what happened in the first half.
How many possessions did Harvey have to
10. He had 10, so he's had 9 in this quarter.
Well, there's a fair bit of it left too, isn't there?
Well, Burke's been terrific too, and could the captain kick a second goal? I mean, there'd be some irony in this because he's not the finisher, is he? He's not the man that normally finishes as Elliott comes off for the blood rule. But if Burke can kick this...
Paul Williams, I think, another blood rule. That's his second for the night. And
Hall and Young off the half-back line. We've seen during this season Richmond have been brilliant because of the run they get out of their half-back line. Suddenly Hall to centre half-back. Barry Young. Matty Young onto the other half-back flank. 10 possessions out of those two has given them run off there. And Peckett as well, coming away from the full back line, spotting it up by foot. They've got more run out of the back line and the forward line's loving it.
So another big kick for Burke. 40 metres out, keeps it low, he hooks it, he's missed it.
Got very close.
He turned the head and probably uttered an expletive. As soon as he struck the ball, he knew it was a shocker.
He got very close to the man on the mark there. Let's have a look what Tarkin Lockyer faces as he kicks out. And they want it up the middle here. They've got most of their numbers in the middle. He might even chip it over the top here, just slightly off centre. No, it's bottled up. And out wide you go to the safety. And put it on this bloke to make the right option.
Good kick by Barkley to Adkins. Scurries away, doesn't he? And then kicks to centre-half forward. Gee, Hall was lucky not to give a free kick away. Fraser, Tarrant, clever. Great kick. Well played.
He's been pretty well held. He's found it tough tonight, Chris Tarrant. He hasn't found as much space as he normally would and hasn't been able to pull in a couple of big marks, but that's just very clever. That is a very clever piece of play.
6th possession for Tarrant, and Scotty Burns coming up for number 14. Dishes off here.
Could be his 3rd goal if he kicks it. That would be... Oh, he's given it to O'Brien.
Just a bit closer, not much.
I'm not so sure if he is closer. By the time he's gone back off the man on the mark, Scotty Burns, kick forward from where he was lining up, but whether the man on the mark is actually closer.
Been a handy goal kicker this year, O'Brien. That's a good kick. He knew his target, didn't he?
Yep.
Burns knew the man to give it to.
Well, they needed to do that, Collingwood, because they were starting to get a real roll on St.Kilda. We mentioned Robert Harvey's come into the game, 9 possessions this quarter, 7 of those in the midfield. And he is winning the ball clean out of the centre, and that's just giving their forwards, or the new forward set up a chance.
He's had a couple from the centre breaks too. The Saints now have just got to make sure the scoreboard keeps ticking for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, they've got to keep that
Collingwood will kick goals, but they've just got to make sure they keep ticking it over. Steadier, good goal to O'Brien. back to 7 goals.
Anthony Rocker in the ruck. He'll jump and try and pull down to his left hip. Oh, you're going back. Right one. Jumps with the left arm.
Zilla to Knowles. Not a good kick wide. Heatley's been well held all night. Speaking of being held, he was then. Preston Giacomo kicks away. Burke's going to claim it. Oh, gee, didn't go far.
Travelled about 7 yards.
Possession number 20.
Heatley again the target. Preston Giacomo, no mark. Back to Lockyer. Back to Buckley. Well played. And then floats one out wide to Fraser. Took it well. Took it really well, the 18-year-old. He's had it for a while. Didn't panic.
That's
and good
brilliant.
kick to Atkins. Sweeps it inboard. Misses his target. Can the Saints take advantage? Scotland just fended off. Back to Ben Johnson. You wouldn't fancy they'll catch him. Out to Fraser at half-back. Then down to Burns. Has been pretty good. Delaney with him. Running on it was Gavin Brown. Peckett towards the line. He's had a good third quarter. Peckett still in play. Still in play. Fished out to Bathiris. Hayes with him. Bathiris gets a kick away. Conceded a bit of ground in the end. Good hands. Back inboard. The Saints are away to Burke. And then Burke, good kick to Jones. Got him. Can Aussie make the distance from here?
Yes, he can. If they kick this way, if they get the next 2, you just about
watch Harvey.
They can be on a roll here. He'll try. You'd have to be a lot closer than that, halves.
It's gone to him, got him. Well, this will test Harvey, won't it?
Absolutely.
It's a real pressure kick, not an easy one.
You'd expect him to kick this, though. He's on a 45-degree angle, and he'll kick from about 45 metres out. Now, Robert Harvey, the player that we know he is, needs to kick this for the St.Kilda Footy Club.
He does everything brilliantly, except kick it.
He's kicked that all right.
Well done.
He's got it. They've got a little chance, I think, don't you? Just a little chance.
If they get one more, you could just about say that they'd have Collingwood in a minor panic at this point in time.
I'm sure that's what Tim Watson would have said to them at half-time. He said, look, we're down 50 points. We can't erase that deficit in a quarter of football. What we can do is win the next quarter, maybe take 2, 3, 4 goals off them, and all of a sudden get some momentum up. We could be a chance in the last quarter.
Tim Watson there. Burke, Jones and Harvey have been so important this quarter, haven't they, to the Saints?
And just judging by the last Severio tap, jumped with the left hand, pulled to the right, now he goes to the right, the way I called it last time. I thought Harvey was going to try and shark it.
Jukovic's little kick. Rocker was really good a moment ago, and then handballs to the space, but Thiris can't get clear. Burns crashes to O'Brien, tries to break a tackle, back to Adkins. Back turn was clever enough. Williams forced to kick in a hurry. It's right to the square. Well played, Sav, building away against Wakeland, a defensive play, but a behind for Collingwood.
Well, from the kick-ins, St Kilda have been pretty good over their last 2 or 3 because they haven't been the predictable straight long kick down the centre. They've gone out wide. They do it again, and Halves gets on the end of it. They'll have to get somebody to break for him.
Zilla, little push, he'll get a free kick.
That's soft. That is dead set soft.
At half-back, they probably need another 1 or 2, don't they?
Yep.
Rocker at the back. Boundary throw in.
Gee, David Sierakowski's doing a good job. He's obviously not 100% fit. You can just see him labouring when he has to cover some ground, but he's putting himself in and really giving them an option.
Yeah, both Monkey and Elliott are on the bench there, boys, so he's doing the hard work in the ruck.
And Anthony Rocker just gives him a shove. Bathiris. Hayes did well.
Tackle.
Buckley breaks it.
Good body strength.
Gets it to about 50. Attacking hard was Gavin Brown. Johnson's handball. Delaney held his ground. And then Brown in hard. Might have won a free kick. Didn't get it. Sweeps a terrific handball to O'Brien. 40 metres out. It won't be a goal. Brown good in close or behind.
They've peppered a few this quarter, the Pies.
They have, but I think for the first time, Dermot, they're under a bit more pressure.
Yep.
They haven't had the time to run in and settle and just kick the easy goal.
Now, if Peckett can get a kick out wide with distance, they'll get run on from it. 2-6 this quarter, the Pies. Can find somebody who can kick to a leading half forward on the secondary possession and move it away fairly quick. Once again, they get stagnant with their second possession. And this is where Tim Elliott sitting on the bench hurts them.
12 possessions for Harvey in this quarter.
Yeah.
He's just undecided. So in the end, he sort of has to go as long as he can to centre wing and hope And Burke, who's had a terrific third term and a good match all round, kicks into the centre square. It was just a sit-up kick though, and Collingwood were to pick it off. Adkins, Delaney, well done. Then hurled up and then slaps it forward. Adkins has a second crack, gets it out wide to Fraser, who's done some good things, and then bangs to full forward. He had a man in the pocket. Tarrant versus Hudson, we've seen a bit of that tonight. Brown just trying to get a free kick. Pickett all over him, well played. Tarrant got rid of one, he's on his wrong side. Little kick to full forward, well trapped by Young. Hamble in close, back to Harvey. They've done all right. Pickett, they've flirted with danger.
Oh, he's got nothing ahead.
He's going to kick it out of bounds, he has to, and he does.
I tell you what, they were very lucky there, St Kilda. Andrew Jukovic was in the far pocket, and he was screaming blue murder for the ball. But Josh Fraser turned he turned inside. If he had have gone back the other way, he would have seen him 30 metres in the clear.
He's done the right thing turning inside, though.
I had to.
Yeah. Always try and keep it central if you can.
Collingwood at 60 metres from home here. Burns tried to get rid of Hayes and then forced a handball in a hurry. Adkins off the ground.
Tackle halves.
Jukovic's handball, Williams ridden into the ground by Burke. Burke's been good, Harvey's been outstanding in this term. To Zilla, a late goal would be really important here. Out wide, poor bounce there for Blake, who's been on the interchange all night. Presti Jacoma, they'll find it hard to get off Buckley. Back to Presti.
Good boy.
Blake, Hudson, Thompson, he's in trouble. Gets a handball out wide. Beetham's got to find it, he does. He's got players to choose from. In short, Young, still Young. Straightens the body, gets clear, goes to full forward. Aussie's been there, but rather Mitchell forced underneath. No free kick, and the siren sounds. I think Collingwood breathed a sigh of relief. 50 points back to 36.
That was Robert Harvey's quarter. 14 possessions.
No doubt. But Buckley had the first half, Harvey had the third quarter, didn't he? So, well, they've got it from 50 to 37. It's probably not enough, but they've given themselves just a little chance. It's 94 to 57.
One goal each for Collingwood. St.Kilda, Aussie Jones kicking 3.
Collingwood and Rip Bathiris out on the wing, so Robert Harvey may have a new opponent,
Yep. They know Harvey won't match up. They might just try and get as many kicks as him going the other way.
Might go head-head. There we see standing next to Paul Williams, just behind the umpire.
So the start of the last quarter, 14-10 to 9-3. Burke out of the centre. He did that early in the match. Lockyer running hard within Mitchell, and then Dimatina clever enough to find the line.
Well, Lockyer finds himself on the half-back line now against Mitchell. He's
in
been
fact
moved from Aussie Jones.
not on the wing. He's actually fullback on Aussie Jones.
2 weeks running, Tarkin Lockyer's been moved from an explosive forward.
Thompson, well done Sirakoski, but Buckley read it really well. Anthony Rocker and Barry Hall. He's looked better, Barry Hall, since he's been looked sharper, hasn't he, down back?
More urgency about him. You almost see him will himself to play harder by the fact that as a backman he will run forward. You get the chance to stagnate and just loiter and hope that somebody can kick it to you as a forward if you're out of form.
Sirakoski and Fraser down to Harvey. Good effort to Blake, to Thompson. It straightened up really well. Good chase from O'Brien. At the back, Heatley. A tough ball for him, but he fell over too easily. And then Johnson to Richardson. Harvey's got a real taste for it. Back to Knowles. Back to Knowles. Needs a handball. Gets to Zilla. Back to Hayes. Just has to kick as far as he can, and O'Brien's got it. So in the end, they got shabby after they looked good going forward. And Williams runs hard from O'Brien to get it. Been off a couple of times with the blood raw, Williams.
Interesting matchup, though, putting him on Harvey, or responsible for Robert Harvey.
It's a good kick, isn't it? And Tarrant ran really hard then to make it for him. Even when he's not firing, Tarrant, he's an impressive player. Wide to Dimatina, and then running on is Lockyer. Bit up and under, but he's got it between half forward and centre wing.
It's a good kid, isn't he? I mean, he keeps a good balance in what he wants to do, even when he's been beaten.
The kick to centre half forward. Brown front spot was looking for it. Sirakoski to Burke, two of the real hard workers. Good kick to Heatley, a long way from home. To Hayes, running onto his left. The kick to centre half forward, not a good one. Williams pushed, by Harvey Patheris. It was an important ball, and then he bangs away to some space. Thompson's got his sights on it. Tarrant and Hudson. Zilla over the top to Thompson, who's been an honest goer all night. Back to Zilla. It was a hot handball in the end, and he couldn't control it, and then O'Brien decides to kick as far as he can. Here's a chance. Young's last man standing. Rocker was superb. Little give was good. Jukovic running into an open goal and kicks it.
Had to come under him, Matty Young, didn't he? Tried to stand up and absorb the bump from Anthony Rocker.
Anthony Rocker just monstered him. Yep. He just destroyed him at the bump and kept his balance. Have a look at the bouncing ball. You can see Rocker coming from the right. Young bending down for it, and he just gets caught clean. Rocker then dishes a slick little handball, and a good chase came from Barry Hall. He was gathering in with every step. He gets very close at the end, but just can't make up the ground.
Wasn't the train coming through then, but he just had to dive on the ball, and Rocker would have gone over the top, and you could even draw the free in that situation. Not really smart from Matty Young.
So they've stretched it out again now, Collingwood. Seemingly safe at the start of the last quarter. O'Brien, Davis, O'Brien, Buckley, brought down by Burke.
Oh, that has to be a free kick.
Delaney to Peckett, out to Blake, to Thompson, inboard to Hayes, starting to find the footy a bit. Just bangs away to centre half forward, and an easy mark to Lockyer, but his attitude's great, isn't it? He's hungry for the footy.
Yep.
Even when he's getting beaten, he doesn't shy away. He's not intimidated.
No, not at all. And that is reflected in the way that he will take on opponents too in the back line.
Dimartina short, and he's got Buckley behind him, but he'll come down the line a bit to centre wing to Anthony Rocker. Barry Hall, front spot Rocker, at the back is Jones, so he's a long way from the goal. Back to Peckett. Well, good tackle by Rocker. Then Hall, back to Jones, has to wait a bit. Forced to kick underneath a bit, and good mark taken by Knowles, centre wing.
Buckley sitting back behind play, just trying to read it, pick it off, goes past him.
Mitchell, the pocket. Well, poor handball, and it was too tough, and Dimartina runs it over the line.
Not the sort of spot the Saints want to kick the ball to either, deep into the pocket. They're better off bringing it back into the corridor. They need to kick goals in a hurry.
Yep, yeah. Your 5'8" leading forward isn't exactly going to run up the corridor.
Atkins, Harvey, strong hip and shoulder.
Ooh.
And
Sirra took it out of his hand then. People don't realise just how physically strong Rob Harvey is. I mean, for a bloke who's about the 5'10" mark, he's a monster size. The strength he has through his torso and his legs, his hips, he's just a monster.
Fraser did well to O'Brien, who check-sided it to keep it in, and Burke was just trying to find it. Licuria with him. Burke, Licuria brings him to ground. Atkins, the kick not bad, and running hard, Gavin Brown, good mark.
Oh, he's got Paul Williams on.
And he's seen him now, Jace, but Hall sort of got there, and then that's a hard, fast lead and a good mark to Tarrant.
Still got Paul Williams,
who's run right to the goal square. Tarrant decides to come inboard and got him to Jukovic.
Well, we talked about Robert Harvey a second ago. He's just about out of steam too.
And you've got to give full marks to Barry Hall, because he went from centre half back all the way to the goal square to cover Paul Williams, because he knew that Robert Harvey had been caught out. But in the end, Chris Tarrant just picked the correct option. He waited for the lead, and Jukovic provided a good one.
So he kicked the goal in the last quarter on the run. That one, has it got the legs? It's not. Well, the goal umpire fancies it, I think. I think the original kick is a goal. Well, that's gone through about shoulder height, hasn't it?
It's another one you'd like to have a look at close on the line. They've been under a bit of pressure, the goal umpires, in recent weeks. And we saw a very ordinary decision earlier on tonight when Justin Peckett appeared to touch the ball prior to the goal line. Let's have a look at this one. Coming right onto the line.
Sirakowski's the toucher. Oh, he's half a metre in.
Well, it didn't look like it got there, but it's a goal to Jukovic. He's kicked the 2 goals in the last quarter that have given Collingwood the big break again. 16-10 to 9-3. So
against Licuria, coming off the wing, ran in early. As I said, Rob Harvey, he still works for you, forward of this kick. He's just cut in from the left here. He has run his heart out.
He ran off the line. He was taken to the back, and then rocker back to Jukovic. Gets in short. Little one by Tarrant.
Good effort by Blake. Laid 2 tackles there. Well done by Browning. Read the quick kick.
Now there's a space there, and he's going to kick it there. It's good, well-weighted kick to Fraser. Barry Hall getting back and forcing through. Well, the Army will be back here next Friday, or I think at Colonial next Friday night when they play the Hawks, because funnily enough, at 6 and 9, you're not actually officially dead in terms of the finals, are you?
True. And 7's got you there at the moment with reasonable percentage.
Who knows? I mean, Geelong ended up with 10 wins. They won their first 5, lost their next 9, and ended up with 10 wins for the season and missed out by a game and a bit of percentage.
We've got another blood rule, is it? Paul Williams again. He must be leaking through that bandage, is he?
That eye that he's had problems with a couple of times, you can just see it coming through there.
Oh, so Scotland, he just decides to run on. No, you've actually got to wait, Heath, until the blood rule play actually gets off the ground. There you go. Have a go now, son. And there's Willow. That should be all she wrote for Willow tonight.
What it does do, the blood rule does give the St Kilda players a good chance to bunch and set their bunch up nicely for the kick-up, but they're still, they just don't appear to be bunching very tightly.
They're not hard. Harvey breaks now, and he's got a bit of a drop if he's seen by Wakeland.
It's got him too, Dermot, very wide.
Now, that was the man Paul Williams was on, and Heath Scotland didn't get anywhere near him when he went out there.
Thompson, the target. That's a terrific mark.
Good stretch.
With Fraser bearing down on him, and he had a couple of Magpies around him as well.
When Tim Elliott came off, it worked for 1 goal for St Kilda. It hasn't worked since. I reckon they'd be better served with him up forward again. Kicks
to about 60 metres. Platt front spot. Pressure to Como. Back to Lucuria. Back to Buckley. 35 possessions he's had. Kicks to Scotland. A lot of them have been as a sweeper, admittedly. And then Lucuria wants someone to come, and then bangs long. Tarrant the target. Uses his body well. Ball comes to ground. Just searches for it a bit, Peckett. He's had a good second half, Peckett, in his 150th.
He's got Heatley.
Good kick to Heatley. Just hasn't happened for Heatley tonight, has it?
No, and Buckley once again just sits back behind play. Doesn't really pick up a man. They go to Caden Beetham, just shy of centre wing. And Buckley drops inside 50 all by himself. And he'll skirt the back of this pack here.
Darryl Wakeland deep. Was going to get the handball away, now does, towards the pocket. Zilla hooks back to centre half forward. Blake front spot. They had a couple of cracks at it. Quick kick from Lenny Hayes, is it? It's a goal.
He's got talent, Lenny Hayes. Doesn't find it enough, but he does have talent.
Now, the problem they've had tonight, St Kilda, it's been that kick to the key forward. They haven't had any easy goals where they can bring the ball down, hit a leading forward who takes a mark and kicks the goal. They've had to manufacture them, and they've kicked a few great goals. They've had to use people that don't normally kick goals as goal kickers, and this one, it took an exceptional effort from Lenny Hayes. You can just see him roving the spoil there. He's getting tackled and manages to keep his composure very, very well.
And Monkhurst now warming up to come back on.
Thanks, Dipper. So 44 points. Collingwood certainly have it won. Can the Saints get a couple more here? Burke has been tireless. Or Richardson, that's good. He's been in good form all night, hasn't he?
Quite brilliant.
Kick to Jukovic. A couple of goals in this last quarter have been more than handy. And then decides to go long. Good-looking kick off the boot. Belted away at the back by Hudson. Burke roving hard, and then little left footer was terrific to Peckett outside the defensive 50. And a nice stretch by Beetham has shown a bit at centre wing. Comes across to Thompson. He has to wait a long time. He's got it though.
Oh, I thought O'Brien could have really jumped up and spoiled that.
Barry Hall in short.
Clever kick, Dad. That's what they've got to do. Whoever plays on Buckley has to run up, and they have to utilise him.
That's a great hit too.
Yeah, good play by Hall, getting it back from Blake. Platt, he's had a miserable season at St Kilda, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
Goes to the pocket, Heatley, brought down, no free kick. O'Brien, clever kick.
Just doesn't clutch enough of those, Jason Heatley, does he?
He's taken a couple of good one-grabbers tonight early.
When the ball falls on him, but on the lead, once he gets on the lead and under pressure from behind, he does let them spill just a little bit too much. And as you say, for a bread and butter leading forward, just got to do that religiously.
Harvey over the back. Oh, brilliantly played, and then gets some space and goes for goal. It's fading. was a wonderful bit of footy.
You know what? He recognised that he needed a bit of left to right in that kick, and I reckon he's deliberately kicked it out of the instep. And we see Sirakowski, who's given everything tonight, and you're entitled to take a big winded blow there, Sarah. And Berkey and Halves just went to swing it, and he just overcooked it.
Paul Williams back on with the headband now covering up the injury.
Put him in a beanie.
O'Brien to Buckley, and then Fraser, well done, Hall against him. Back to Mark Richardson, goes to the pocket. Haven't seen much of Sav in the second half.
Good grab.
Terrific mark.
It hasn't been from a lack of effort from Sav that he's drifted out of the game. The supply's dried up a bit. They haven't had as open a forward line and that continual supply coming down. He's still tried to chase. He's punched the ball where he had to, brought the ball to ground, given off a couple of handballs. He's just got to stay positive, and look, if he can finish with a couple of late goals, and let's hope that he kicks this, he might end up with 5 and really get his confidence up. That's a good solid mark.
Well, you've said a couple of times, Jason, over the years that 4 goals is sort of a pretty good return. You're pretty happy with 4, aren't you? And this is where he's going at the moment. He's kicked 3, hit the post with another one. He's kicked it beautifully tonight. You'd give him a better than 50% chance from here. As Heatley's coming off the ground, Sav kicks a mongrel, but it's a terrific pass to Gavin Brown.
Well, he has struck the ball beautifully all night, and he has missed the target by about 25 metres.
A couple of 3 happy pie supporters there.
That's nearly,
step toe and son.
I reckon that's nearly hit his ankle on the inside of his right foot.
Be appropriate here too, on the night that they celebrate their grand final win, their premiership in 1990, that the one bloke who's still playing for them, Chris Siska, not playing in the A's, has a chance to kick a late goal, and he does.
Brownie.
Tell you what, it's a big week for him next week. He goes to 250. It's been a famous number at Collingwood. Lou Richards and Peter Dacos both played 250. Gavin Brown will join them next week.
Amazing, isn't it? Do you think...
Look at that kick. That's a shank.
No, it's a lace out. What are you talking about? A team that's just steeped in so much tradition that only 2 other blokes have got to that figure.
There's more above them, but they're on the 250.
Yep.
So Heatley sitting it out there at 17-11 to 10-4. So Gavin Brown, who will play his 250th next week, getting a goal. Rocker to Davis, who could take off, and then goes wide. Sav Rocker, Wakeland with him. Tarrant, it was an awkward, in fact it was a bad spoiler. Shepherd, and then he ran straight out Wakeland and took him high.
Well, Timmy Watson's already prepping for next week. He's moved Barry Hall after he's found a touch of the ball now back to the half-forward line. He's got his hands working and got a bit of run into his game, so I hope he can do it at the other end. That's just a bit of a dress rehearsal for next week.
Hayes up and under a bit. Beetham, Lockyer, Harvey, Williams, ball up. Collingwood finishing off pretty well here. They've kicked 3 in the last quarter to 1. That's what Michael Malthouse would have wanted at 3/4 time. There's big bad Barry Hall.
He's got the goods to be an exceptional player, Barry. He's just yet to nut it out completely.
Centre wing, high tackle it looked on the Saint, and it'll be a free kick.
And it's going to fall into the domain of Barry Hall after Caden Beetham kicks, and he's a great kick too. Give him a lead, Barry.
So Hall now to have a crack at it, and he's got it. Gee, you're like a soothsayer, Dermot, with all of that. So Hall at about 50, wide to Aussie. Did he hold it? No. Peckett having trouble holding his balance too. No. Peckett comes through. Jukovic got him. Richardson, good smother by Hall. Back to Jukovic. Changes direction. Mercurius swept up pretty well tonight. Wide to Fraser.
He heard a couple of steps coming in behind, and he marked it and looked up and said, is that friend or foe?
That was a shocking floater.
And then another one stop from Knowles. Thompson getting it wide from Elliott. He's got Jones really short again. Too short in the end. Aussie's got to provide a miracle here, and he can't. And well done, O'Brien. Just tapped it along the line.
That's just the difference between the top and the bottom team, isn't it? That little chip kick that goes to Aussie Jones there and hits him on the first bounce at Essendon. That's not just hit on the chest, it's just lace out every time.
At 50, Elliott down. Harvey. Robbed by Williams, yep.
Pickpocketed him.
And then wants the line. Just having a look at some of the Berkey's had, Nathan Burke, 26 possessions and 7 centre clearances, and Robert Harvey's had 28 possessions and they're 8 goals behind.
Yep. There's not much more those two can do, is there? I mean, Harves had the slow start in the first half, but to knock up and get that much of the ball in the second half, it's a great effort.
Well done, Hayes to Robert, centre half forward. Davis with pace. Beetham comes across in front. Thompson to Burke. Slick hands were terrific to Lenny Hayes, and he has kicked it. I reckon it's a good goal. Well played. So Hayes has got a couple of last quarter goals. Burke, good touch from Berkey there, wasn't it?
Yeah, he knew he was under pressure, and if there's one bloke you're not going to run away from, it's Leon Davis. He's got amazing foot speed. He recognises this here and says, I'm going to get gobbled up. Quick move on here. Great peripheral vision. Kicks a lot of those goals, Lenny Hayes.
It went both ways.
Yep.
Well, Matthew Young will be a bit disappointed. Hasn't played since the Bulldogs in round 9, that heartbreaking loss.
11 possessions to him. He was good in the third quarter. Just got steam trained by Anthony Rocker a little bit earlier this quarter.
Fraser's kicked to centre half forward. There is Anthony Rocker. Was touched off the boot, so play on. Pickett misses Platt. Johnson, good tackle by Zilla, and then Davis's kick is a clever one right there. Was a touch by Wakeland, it was. Just having a look at some of the other players, they're just not getting enough out of Platt, Monkey, Mitchell. Mitchell's been there for a while now, but those recruits, the aged recruits that St Kilda got at the start of the year, nothing has happened for them, have they?
The best value one has been Delaney, and he's run himself out a little bit of form. He's probably got the best. And there's a whistle on play here. It's a hold against Rob Harvey by Williams.
What, no advantage whatsoever, because
it's actually a disadvantage.
Knowles
they were off, weren't they, Jason?
Knowles was clear, could have run and delivered inside the forward 50. Now all the play gets held up, and they've got to try and find another target.
And now they're under pressure. There you go. He's worked out. See, there you go. Bucks plays off him, and they get it to Blake. Oh, look out, you're in trouble.
So Knowles back to Blake. Good kick to Hall. Got him.
It worked out pretty well in the end, under pressure. Sometimes, look, people say about midfielders, why do they just incessantly play on? Forwards read play on type midfielders. You can only read play when it's in motion. Static kicks, there's nothing to it. It's just kick, it's just cannon fodder for the opposition backman.
Well, he's stuck to his task, Barry, hasn't he? He had a bad first half.
He got a bit of reprogramming in the back half, didn't he?
And
well done, Barry.
Let's kick the goal. And from the Saints' point of view, he's had 14. They could have been beaten by 10 goals 5 minutes ago, but they've just kept it ticking, haven't they? Hayes has got a couple. Hall's got one. Buckley coming off the ground now. 35 disposals tonight. Well coached, well used by Michael Malthouse, wasn't he?
Absolutely. Didn't bash him around in the centre of the ground, and got him off the half-back line, where effectively was the most damaging player in the period where Collingwood set up the win.
There he is, their captain, their champion player. So the Saints are back to basically where they were at three-quarter time. It's a 3-goal quarter to both teams. Fraser run down, high tackle, free kick. Goes wide. Lucuria been steady and goes to centre half forward. Saints have got the numbers. Didn't take the mark at the back though. Monkey unable to take it. Jukovic, Burke, or rather Pickett, run over, boundary throw in.
Disguised that well, didn't he? He wanted the boundary line, just held onto it, cocked the handball as if he was going to give it, waited to be pushed over. A bit of experience there. 150 up for Pickett tonight. It's a great effort.
Monkhorst and Rocker. Monkey gets it back. Just too far for Burke. Jukovic. There's Pickett. It's his 19th disposal. Big second half in terms of getting hold of the footy. And now the race is on, and it'll be a boundary throw in.
He surprised me tonight. You've called it like his last lunge, Prestigiacomo, when he's chasing out a leading player. He's got a lot more pace than I thought he did.
Yep, a lot of people underestimate him.
just the way that Knowles was labouring in that sprint for the ball, and Prestigiacomo, he was just in a nice even gait and matched him for pace.
Well played, Monkey. Had a second crack at it. Burke, another pause. Oh, clever mark by Lockyer at half-back. Little one inboard to Williams.
And Harves just barely makes it onto the mark. Watch Harves here. Just want to put the hands over the head. No, he's too tired.
To Johnson, who had some electrifying moments in the second quarter. In short to Atkins. Now Atkins away. Loves to take them on. Goes to his left. Not a good kick. Claps marked it. Short to Jones. 35,542. Pretty good crowd. It did build up for two teams, 13 and 16. Admittedly with a lot of history and big support. Belted away by Licuri on Burke for a boundary throw-in. So the president will be happy, Eddie Maguire. It's broken the drought. Gives them a 6th win.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Well, to think that this team played in 2 matches this year at the MCG where they got over 80,000 and they beat Carlton by over 70 points. Carlton have won 9 straight. And a boundary throw-in.
That's a
he's
solid
cramped
tackle.
up there.
Solid tackle from Anthony
There
Rocker.
you go, the big fella. Good to see him working hard in the second half. But once again, I mean, they'd set up the win effectively by half-time, but he's fallen off the pace since
Look at that for a
half-time.
tackle.
He can be very physical, can't he? I mean, he's given a terrific hip and shoulder earlier tonight.
And he's best when he's like that.
Johnson, still Johnson to Aubrey. Gets it back to Batheris and then changes direction. Could be danger here. Delaney a chance. Davis, good mark. Delaney put a lot of pressure on him. Davis goes to Tarrant. Cut off.
Actually a good kick, but he didn't have the peripheral vision to see who was standing there already.
Gee, that's an average kick by Wakeland, and Burke and Jones had to think about it. Which one? Slow handball. Wakeland goes back. They're teasing them, aren't they?
They're doing it the hard way.
To Platt. Hard kick, probably too hard in the end. That kick, Knowles, Dimartina all over him. Good umpiring, just to let it go. Now they'll try and get it out. Hayes runs over the top. And the free kick going to Collingwood, is it? To Dimartina. Maybe for Hayes coming in the way he did. Gives it to Tarrant. Tarrant's kick to the pocket, and Fraser's taken a good one.
He's done pretty well marking on the chest. He's a little bit cramped
I
up
hope he
there.
hasn't hurt himself yet.
Yep. 18 possessions to him, 7 marks. Laid 4 tackles. Great effort for a big fella.
And as a big man, he does play a particularly good link man. When he does get the ball, he has the skills to use it. He's pretty good on the lead as well. We've seen him a couple of times tonight. It looked like he was covered, but he manages to protect the ball and take it on his chest. A couple of times I thought the ball would be spoiled, but he did hang on to it.
He's actually fallen on his ankle there, Surakowski.
Still testing the kick.
That's not a cramp. That is a contact type bruise injury he might have got there.
Just 18 years of age, Fraser. It's a good last quarter and a very steady match. Gets pretty close to the man on the mark and gets underneath it. And kicks it behind. Kicked a second quarter goal tonight. So Collingwood home and hosed here, breaking a long drought.
There's the captain. Won't even put the dressing gown on. I know Bucks, he's so competitive. He'll leave the dressing gown off hoping that he'll get another run. just rack up some more stats. He's just so competitive. Good spot up there by Aussie Jones from the goal square.
And then Sirakowski has been good to Zilla. Oh, clever mark by Dimartina.
It's like his brother. We will have a rip at it, won't he?
Mark Richardson has been one of a number of very good players for Collingwood tonight. And Fraser continues to work. He's had 8 possessions now in the last quarter. Gee, just think about him in 4 or 5 years' time if everything goes the way it should.
Well, you can see even at this early point that the draft got it right. He's clearly the most exciting of all last year's draft choices.
Kick to about 45 metres. Atkins, it comes off and out of play. Well, for Tim Watson, just the 1 win. They've had 4 wins in their last 27 games, St Kilda. It's a damaging stat, isn't it? I mean, it's just such a drought for them. They had a couple of little bursts in this match. Early first quarter, they kicked 3 in a row. Then Collingwood kicked 8 goals in a 24-minute period where the Saints didn't get a look in, and then the Saints came back in the third. But in the end, they've fallen a long way short, haven't they? 30 scoring shots to 16.
The old what might have been. I just had the feeling early season, if they had beaten West Coast in that draw, they might have had confidence to pinch like 2 or 3 more games along the way.
I think the Richmond one really hurt them when they had the game won at half-time, seemingly.
And they're overrun, yeah.
It's the one that Tim often refers to. Burke gets it from Thompson. Just a float. A good mark now, Michael. You saw Stewie Lowe on the way up before the game, and he reckons he might play next week, doesn't he?
He said he's 1 week off. He's hoping to play next week, which will give them something up forward again.
She's getting some space.
Fraser,
He is,
isn't he? Wakeland and Rocker. Back to Jones. And then Aussie wide to Hall. Now, can Hall get around Prestige Jacomo? No, he can't. He's a steady player, isn't he? In short.
In the words of Clint Eastwood, he's got to know his limitations, and he plays that way. He doesn't try and do it fancy. They get around him, they support him, he just runs out and punches away and just plays everything down.
Oh, that's a good grab from Tarrant, who does have some special qualities, doesn't he? And that's a terrific mark. And then pushes forward, and still Fraser working in the pocket. Not paid.
Gee, I think that one was there.
Yeah, Gavin Brown. You think he would have taken that mark?
It was Gavin Brown, sorry, yeah. In the pocket. Would have you paid it, or you thought he should have held it?
Well, I thought he got his hands to it. We didn't see enough of it, I guess, from that angle.
Beetham's kick. Out wide and slipping away from Blake.
I think it was one of those where he thought, I'd like to take it on my chest, but if I do, as we see Chris Tarrant just rising above them all, that's a beauty.
Takes one a match, doesn't he?
Sure does. And
one of the most exciting players around.
And he too is just 19 years of age. So it's a good win for Collingwood. There are a lot of people that thought they might make it 10 defeats tonight, which would have been their worst effort ever in one season, 10 in a row. Knowles to the pocket. Harvey did well. He stood down against Williams. This will be a good contest.
What's the body strength?
Harvey and Williams gets it back to Hayes. He's kicked a couple of goals in the last quarter. Brings it back to centre half forward over the back. They might be all right here. They've got some numbers. Knowles decides to lean back and go for it and kick it. It's a goal, a late one.
Hasn't been a lot to cheer about for the Saints, but at least they're fighting the game right out. I mean, that would please Tim Watson. They could easily have capitulated tonight. Down 50 points at half-time. You're thinking, gee, we could lose by 15 or 16 goals here. And they've got the margin, you know, back to within 6 goals. I think you've got to commend them for the effort. They haven't thrown the towel in. A lot of them still learning about this game. They are playing a lot of players that haven't played a lot of football, and the more they do play, the better they'll be in the future.
Well, let's see if Berkey can get another takeaway here. He's been fantastic in there for the losing side. Not this time. Gee, he's been good.
He has played good, hasn't he?
Ben Johnson, Sav just getting rid of his man, and then Platt going out wide and finding the line. Well, David Anstey needs a point for St Kilda to get 2 grand final tickets, but he might be out of luck here. Not too long to go. Let's see if they can run it down the ground.
Come on, Saints, he's crying.
There's a Collingwood man barracking for the Saints. $60,000 can do a lot of things to people. The kick to centre half forward. Burke overran it. Had been a good player. And then Anthony Rocker up and under. It'll take a while to come down. It's in the pocket. Sav and also Darryl Wakeland almost at the line. And that's it. Collingwood have won at long last. It's been a long time for them, but they've broken the drought. The Saints' miserable season continues, but the Magpies win by 33 points. Nathan Burke soldiered on all night with his 29 possessions. And as silly as it might sound, Collingwood keep their season alive. They are not completely out of this season if they could just find some of the magic that took them through the first 5 weeks. They're up to 6 and 9. There's Monkey. He played in a premiership with Gavin Brown in 1990. And Brownie will join Lou Richards and Peter Dacos when he plays his 250 next week. He's got a few in front of him, including Tony Shaw. But it'll be a milestone for him when they play the Hawks next Friday night.
Certainly will be. And, well, as you mentioned, Bruce, they've lost 9 on the trot, but it only takes a win to turn things around. Who knows, if they string a few together, they might get some momentum back up.
Let's go down with Anthony Hudson.
Thanks, Bruce. Well, nice to get a win.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, so we're going to lap it up, and hopefully this performance here can give us a good step for the rest of the season.
They had a few drop-offs in the second half, so you must have worked hard to not let it, especially when they came at you.
Yeah, definitely. We knew our second halves weren't that good, so we got in the rooms at half-time and really decided to make a stand, and they kicked a couple, but they showed our character and got back at them.
And your brother had a pretty good return.
Yeah, he did. A lot of people have been bagging him, but Sav just works his butt off on the track, and he's rapt to be back on the side and to help the team win.
And you too, after the Talking Footy criticism a few weeks ago, you've worked pretty hard.
Yeah, I worked pretty hard. You always get criticism, but the only way to get better is to show it out in the field.
Just finally, we thought that hip and shoulder on Young, which allowed you guys to get a pretty important goal, was pretty crucial.
We needed a goal at the time, so he was just running my way and I was running his way, and we just collided. And that's footy. Thanks.
Thanks, Hutto. Good stuff there with Anthony Rocker. Some lovely scenes too with Monkey. There's Nathan Butler getting involved with a couple of his ex-teammates, including Gavin Brown in particular.
And Anthony Rocker stood in the middle just after the interview, yelled out to Monkey, "Monkey, Monkey," just acknowledging the big fella.
Good on him. Well, don't go away. Plenty more to come, but in the end it was Collingwood by 33 points over the Saints.